You know what today is?
It's book club
It's
time.
No Pants Tuesday.
That too. Um, this is a new shirt, Steve. We got a new shirt.
Oh, I like it. It's NASA.
It's still
A
a little loose, but
little too
anyway.
big for you.
Yeah. But anyway. I guess that's what happens when you order short shirts 3 weeks ago. So
Hey, that's a good problem to have.
yeah.
What happened? There we go.
Welcome in everybody. Tonight is book club night. We got two. I've got a long chapter. Steve's got an interlude and a chapter. So we got a lot of reading to do. So I'm gonna welcome in the chat, and we're gonna get to it.
Get to it, and then we'll have fun afterwards.
Exactly. Because I got something to show that really creeps me out.
I got stuff to show that creeps me out.
Nice.
We'll see how it goes.
Prepare to be creeped out after the book. Welcome in Samantha Lowe, Stacy Rogers, Nicole Happy Haunts, Debbie Burnfeld, Diana Murphy. Good to see you, Janice Disney. Welcome in T. Marie's Place, Mark Langenkamp, Debbie Thuner, and Marie Dreyer. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you all. Fred O'Malley's here. Corby Sinclair. Hello, Jeannie. Good evening. Let's see. Scroll on down. There's Stacy Rogers. There's Debbie. There's Anne Marie. Everybody's chitty chatty. Samantha Lowe again. Movie Mania Nick, welcome in. Christine Hickman, good to see you. And there she is. There she is. The lovely, the beautiful, the ever so talented. My snickerdoodle, the Daisy Duck to my Donald Duck, the chili to my Bandit, because I really liked that one last night. The Babs to my Bugs Bunny. I'm trying to think of another cartoon. The Wilma to my Fred Flintstone. The lovely Snickerdoodle. Hello, Angela. Good to see you, dear. Hey. Nathan, welcome in. Good to see you. Let's see. Nick D'Ambrosio, welcome in. Howdy. Jay Nashville's here. Hello. Sparkly Pink Diamonds. Angie, good evening. Let's see. Jay Grubbs. Hello, sir. Good. Welcome. There's Diana Murphy again, and everybody's chit-chatting again. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody else new. And Jason Thibodeau, welcome. Good to see you. And I think we're caught up, Steve.
Oh, yay.
Here we go. Howdy. So,
first off, but I'll write it down. I don't want to spoil it. Let's get into it. I got stuff to talk about afterwards.
Okay.
I'm writing it down so I don't forget.
We're going to get into it. So we last left off. There was a bit of an interlude with Maleficent, Prince, and Aurora had a rocky go there, and then she saw two princes, and they had to fight each other. And she ended up stabbing one, and luckily it was the bad one.
We hope.
Well, it was, because he turned to goo.
What if they're both bad?
And then we had an interlude with Maleficent, who is huh?
Good night, Jay at Nashville.
Good night, Jay. Have a good one.
Hope work is better.
And then Maleficent, who threatened to step it up a bit, and go a little more nasty again. So that brings us to tonight's chapter. Starting chapter is The Void. And let me turn on my light. There we go. Without further ado, here we go. The prince and the princess traveled down the path in silence. Philip put his arm out for her to hold, and Aurora Rose tried to ignore it, but finally accepted it, giving in to her present state and tendency to stagger. She kept replaying the last few seconds in which she had killed the demon. It was harder to drive the sword into the thing's body than she had imagined it would be, but it was still perhaps easier than it would have been a real human. Would there have been more resistance? Would she have been more hesitant? Would the fact that it was an actual person have stayed her hand some? Or had the past few days changed her more than all her years in either reality? Philip was complicated now. She didn't want to think about him. His feelings for her were unbearably strong. His treatment of her in the forest cottage had been ad, ab, abominable. Abominable. Or had it? Wasn't it just the way he would inevitably wind up, considering his life experiences up to that point? Did he have any reason to trust a random girl in the forest with the truth? But didn't he love her? She didn't want to think about that. It seemed wherever she was, whoever she was, Aurora Briar Rose was some sort of maelstrom of deceit, causing all who came near her to lie. For the first time, she wished she was out of the dream world immediately. She wanted to wake up and see the actual world and face people and make them face her. She was exhausted. She wanted to slough through all the layers of falsehood like the tired gray skin of a snake. How close are we? She mumbled, finally breaking the silence. It's a little confusing around here. There are rocks, large ones, not that far ahead, I believe, Philip answered, carefully trying to keep his voice neutral, not wanting to seem overly eager or grateful for the attention she was showing him, not wanting to scare her away. As soon as we see them, it should be a straight shot to the house alongside the little stream. I remember those. Immediately, another flood of memories pummeled her. She gasped, but forced herself to keep walking. Now it was like a valve was turned on and couldn't close all the way. Even when the initial burst was over, the images continued to trickle in, never ending. She could feel the rocks. She had climbed on them. She had rubbed her hands on them. She had found darker rocks in the stream that she could draw on them with. She had balanced on the rocks. She had pretended she was an eagle nesting on them. Get down. Ladies don't act like that, Flora had yelled, catching her once. The other ants had looked at their leader with skeptical faces. Well, I mean, they don't. She won't be able to when, she had continued in a way that hadn't made sense until now. Maybe if more princesses climbed on rocks, the world wouldn't be in the state it is in, Meriwether remarked with her usual crankiness. At the time, Rose thought she meant princess in a general snarky way. Well, we should try to remain consistent, Fauna said reasonably. Are we raising her to be a lady or a girl in the woods? We never discussed that, really. Oh, I don't know. That's a fair point, Flora said, putting her hand to her head. She has such a she has so much natural grace and nobility. Let's discuss it further, but let her be for now. The young Briar Rose had latched on to the let her be part and forgotten everything else. The older Aurora Rose grudgingly saw her dilemma. They had been raising a princess who didn't know she was one. Their little lessons and flights of fancy were starting to make sense. Eating with the right utensil when they had it. The steps to a few court dances, the few things that the aunts thought made a princess, that the fairies thought made a human princess. Fairies who really, until they remembered their task, let her run around naked and do what she wanted because that was normal for fairies. What if she'd been raised in the castle? She wouldn't, as Philip said, have had the little freedom that she enjoyed in the woods. She wouldn't have hunted with foxes. Of course, she would have had two loving human parents, maybe, who might at least have been all right, like Philip's, but nothing special. A prim kiss once a day before bed and after studies, who might have been just passing time until a son came along. It was too much, being hit with the memories, suddenly understanding them in a new context, almost sympathizing with those who had lied to her whole life. Do you want me to carry you? Philip asked, putting a hand on her shoulder. Aurora Rose cursed under her breath. It was taking all of her effort to stay upright, but there was something coming out of her nose that she was pretty sure was blood. More than anything, she wanted to be carried, the way her aunts had carried her when she was tired as a little girl, when she had played too hard and cried too much, or just couldn't make it back to the cottage. She was exhausted and miserable and aching and in pain, and Philip, good old Philip, could easily take her the rest of the way and even enjoy it as penance for his previous sins. No, she set her jaw and kept walking. Philip didn't say anything. He just quietly kept pace with her. The path dipped unsteadily at what was either the site of an ancient creek bed or a spot where rain naturally collected when it ran down the hill. Topsoil gave way to pebbles and rocks and little sharp divots that were deceiving to the eye. She stumbled twice before they had gone more than 50 feet. With a burst of annoyance, she spread her fingers. If it was really her dream, her head, there would be wide, smooth roads, cobbled and drained to where they needed to go, or at least well packed dirt. The little rocks danced and sand shifted. Philip stopped, foot hanging in the air. At first, he was unable to see the cause of the movements. His hand went tentatively to his sword. Aurora Rose frowned, concentrating. Why couldn't the ground see where it was supposed to go? Fill itself in. The rocks and sand and dirt acted like lodestones that didn't like each other, or raindrops on top of dry dust. They skittered around nervously, not wanting to go where she wanted them. The uneven places and holes remained. She shrieked with frustration. Philip risked putting an arm on her. We're entering the deepest part of your mind, remember? He said gently. I don't think it's supposed to be easy to go to. It's a difficult path to who you really are. Spare me more philosophy. I'm angry right now. Well, how about this? You're not Maleficent, who had hundreds of years to perfect her magic. The sound she made in response could have been either animal annoyance at or human acceptance of the logic in what he said. So they traveled more slowly. The path eventually opened up to an ancient clearing. The trees thinned out, and a stream, which had been hiding shyly deeper in the forest, came close to them, rocky and gurgling. Gray stones emerged from the forest floor with moss and needles and even trees on top of them. They looked like they had just popped up their heads for a few moments to look around and would disappear back down below any moment. This is starting to look too familiar, the princess said cautiously. She shivered, but in a good way. Finally, something was starting to make sense, to feel right. Philip wasn't paying attention to her, which was strange, because he was always paying attention to her, even when she was being mean or distant or both. Do you remember this? Is this near the area where we met? Isn't it? She pushed. But he made a motion with his chin in the direction he was looking, which was not at her. Standing further up the path, as if she had always been there, was a little girl. She looked like a waif, maybe 6 years old, dressed in a grayish pink shift that didn't cover her arms and fell thinly to her knees. An ugly, lopsided crown that looked like a girl's drawing sat tilted on her head. Her feet were bare. She was as pale as a wisp of cloud, and dark half moons rode beneath her startling violet eyes. She stood perfectly still. Not even a stray breeze ruffled her perfect blonde hair. Aurora felt cold horror creep its ugly fingers up her back. The girl seemed perfectly calm. Complete stillness surrounded her like a heavy cloak. Although there were no clear shadows in the eternal twilight of the ancient forest, everything seemed dimmer and grayer around her, as if bathed in gloom. She waited patiently for them to speak first. Who are you? The princess began. Kill it, Philip cried out, suddenly finding his voice. It's a demon. Without a moment's hesitation, he rushed at the girl, sword out. Aurora Rose grabbed the prince, although she wasn't sure exactly why. It wasn't just because it was an unarmed, pretty little girl with long eyelashes that he was about to attack and run through with his blade. Philip was probably absolutely right that the girl was another one of Maleficent's demons, but there was something terribly familiar about her, about the air around her, the lack of color. The girl smiled faintly, watching them. It's all right. He couldn't have touched me anyway. When she spoke, it was like there was no distance between them at all. Her voice sounded close to the princess's ear, like the girl knew she would always be heard by the right person. Philip clearly did not like her tone. Frankly, neither did Aurora Rose. She didn't notice, she didn't stop the prince when he launched himself at the girl a second time. He was beautiful to watch, all grace and consummate skill, warmed up by the battle with his twin. The princess flinched, waiting for the thrust of the to the belly that would take the child down. But the girl flickered like a candle about to go out. She was there and not there, and there and not there. And when Philip's sword would have connected with her flesh, she was suddenly a few feet away, in the same pose, with the same look on her face, as if she hadn't had to do anything, not even think, to get there. To his credit, Philip hesitated only a moment before spinning and lunging again. The girl flickered, appearing a few feet away. Philip spun around and slashed even faster than he had before. It didn't matter. They kept going at it, Philip attacking and the girl smiling and disappearing and reappearing, and nothing else. Aurora Rose felt sick. None of the magic, nothing that they had seen in the dream world before had looked anything like this. Finally, Philip fell back exhausted. I told you, the girl said, not with a mocking tone, but with one of infinite patience, which was somehow worse. You cannot touch me, Prince Philip. I do not intend to touch you, demon, he growled. I mean to run you through and keep your evil hands away from Rose. Ah, well, not everything in here is a demon, Prince Philip. Or rather, not all of the things in here are Maleficent's creations. The girl said strangely adult sentences coming from her high young voice. The prince and princess had matching expressions of confusion, which the girl obviously found amusing. Some things are from Aurora's own mind. The princess sucked in her breath. There was something resonant in that statement. The girl did not look exactly like her, but the crown, or wait, is it Rose now? What is it, Rose or Aurora? What are you going by these days? The girl asked, brow furrowing and put on seriousness. If you're from my mind, you should know, Aurora Rose managed to say, trying to channel Philip's usual resonance. Ah, but you don't know, do you? The girl said. From your mind, what is she talking about? Philip demanded. Rose, what is she? What is this? All of her life had been inaction. All of her life had been waiting for other people to do. Ever since she had escaped the Thorn Castle, she had known she wouldn't last much longer if she continued this way. But she could talk herself out of it. She drew her sword and attacked. She didn't question whether she could strike what looked very much like a young girl. She just screamed and threw herself into it. Unblinkingly, the girl watched the princess come at her. At the last moment, she put her hand up. A small wooden sword appeared in it, a clunky plaything. When Aurora Rose brought her own sword down, the girl moved to deflect it. The princess's sword bounced off the wooden sword with an unreal booming sound. It echoed sickeningly off of the trees. Her arms and upper body were shaken by the force of the rebound. She had been completely unprepared for how solid the girl and her sword were. But Aurora Rose gritted her teeth and swung again. The girl spun her sword and did a clumsy, childish parry and riposte. Riposte. Yeah. The tip of her toy didn't reach anywhere near the princess's body. Aurora Rose raised her sword above her head, prepared to do the girl in, to cleave her head in half if she had to. The girl made a concerned titching sound. Are you sure you're up to this? The princess shook with the effort of holding the sword. It wasn't so big a thing, really, but it was solid metal and above her head. She could feel the blood draining down her arm into her shoulder, and it ached terribly. And what was the point? They couldn't kill the thing, whatever it was. Her sword fell to her side. Rose, kill it, Philip shouted. It's not a little girl. I know, she said dully. Don't feel bad, the girl said. You've only killed one other person, really. I'm not counting the mist sprite because your boyfriend here helped you finish it off. Aurora Rose felt herself wilting. Person? That demon who looked like me was no person, Philip said quickly. It was another evil creature like yourself, whatever you may think you are. Honestly, you seem a little tired, the girl observed, looking at Aurora Rose and ignoring the prince. The princess collapsed to the ground. It was kind of a relief. She didn't really want to kill the girl anyway, and the ground was safe and comfortable. The girl smiled sadly at her like a mother at an exhausted baby. Philip watched in confusion, but only for a moment. He took the opportunity to try a sneak attack, running up behind the girl with the pommel of his sword raised to knock her on the head. The girl didn't even bother to look. She was suddenly a mirror image of herself, still turned to observe the princess, but now at the opposite angle. Philip fell over with no plan in his mind for stopping once he had engaged the girl. The girl stood there, looking mildly disappointed, both teenagers on the ground around her. Aurora Rose struggled up from the inviting ground. She had to do this. She had to. She was just so weak and battered, feeling and exhausted. No, no, stay there, really. You look like you could just use a little lie down, the girl said sweetly. The princess lay down with her head in the dirt, feeling waves of not caring wash over her. It was just like when she was a little girl. Rose, Philip cried. He leapt up. Rose, what are you doing? Get up. Leave her alone. Can't you see she's done in? The girl said with mock impatience. Aurora Rose felt sluggishness pour over her like molten lead from her feet to her shoulders. It was a dark, wintry day in either life, Thorncastle or Forest, when the sky was an ugly non color and it was cold, but not the kind that made you want to bundle up and be comforted with a cup of hot tea. It was the kind of day when you just lay unblinkingly and wished to die. Rose, stop it. Get up. Why are you listening to her? Philip demanded. She's listening because I'm not telling her anything she doesn't already feel, the girl explained with a mysterious smile. I'm not telling her to do anything she doesn't already want to do. That's not true, Philip said, but he was hesitant. Rose. She picked up her weary head to look at him. She couldn't do much more than that. That really was what she wanted, to be left quietly, to rest, alone. Maybe it would be better if everyone just stopped talking. Behold your true love, the girl said through perfect tiny white teeth. It was almost a hiss. A directionless, indecisive, despondent, sad little girl. The princess wrapped her arms around her legs, each word dripping acid into her ears. It felt strangely good. That's not true, Philip said, going to her and kneeling down. He put his hand on her chin and turned her face so that she was forced to look at him. His eyes were large and bright and passionate. I fell in love with Rose because she was happy and light-hearted. I fell in love with her because she was beautiful and as cheerful as the sunshine. I fell in love with her because I heard her singing with her beautiful voice, as carefree as a songbird. I fell in love with a girl who danced and twirled across the meadows like an angel of happiness. Aurora Rose listened to him. The words sounded sweet, and he obviously meant each one. But her chin felt awkward in his grasp, and she began to think about what he had said. That's why you fell in love with me, she asked, feeling a little bit of energy come back as she spoke, a little bit of anger rising through the sloth. Yes, Philip said uncertainly. Because I twirled? You were so beautiful when I came upon you, your hair sparkling in the sunlight. You fell in love with, as in wanted to spend the rest of your life with, a silly girl found spinning by herself in the middle of the woods. But, Philip said, it wasn't just that. No, she snorted. It was the singing and the cheerfulness. You were the most delighted. Wait a minute. You were the most delightful girl I had ever met, he protested. You were going to drop everything in your life for a pretty girl you thought was delightful. It was either you or a princess I hadn't even met yet, Philip pointed out. You seemed like someone I could spend the rest of my life with. Because I was given the gifts of song and beauty and grace, she spat. It doesn't matter how you got them, it's who you are. I think we're going to run into some more trust issues here, the little girl interrupted, especially if you think you know Aurora, Rose, whatever. It's not who I am, the princess said, ignoring the girl. I'm not cheerful or light-hearted. You caught me on a good morning when I was going mad with loneliness from living in a forest with three crazy aunts and the overwhelming desire for a boy, any boy. I was remembering a really great dream I used to have about meeting the perfect boy, which was as close as I'd ever come to meeting a real boy, except for the young woodsmen and villagers my aunt so carefully kept me away from. And then suddenly there you were, like out of my dreams. I know, Philip said. It really was perfect. Listen to me, she said, trying to fight the weakness that was overtaking her again. as well as Philip's good natured but not so insightful personality. I spend many days in both worlds just laying around, more time than I spent twirling. The joy I felt when you came was more than I had ever experienced at the cottage in the woods. But it seemed so idyllic, the prince said helplessly. It was boring. Nothing ever happened, ever. I wanted to, I don't know, do things, see things. I don't even know what I wanted. But isn't that normal? I know I felt that way. You say you felt that way, past tense. What changed that? Well, I went to university and made lots of new friends, and Philip trailed off. The princess shook her head and looked at the ground. The creepy girl gave a quiet laugh. Oh, yes, given your opportunities, perhaps she would have been all right. If she could have gone to a place where her other talents could have been trained, where she would have been forced to work and learn and make friends and go out into the world. Honestly, even if she were raised normally, maybe she would have been better in time and her sadness would have become a passing stage. In a farm family where there are things to do, things to learn and keep her occupied, or a village family where she looked forward to meeting boys at a dance every season, or even as a royal princess who had charity work to organize and, I don't know, tapestries to sew. But she didn't just feel trapped, she was. And she didn't even know it. She just felt it. You're speaking nonsense, Philip said. The phrase was so odd for him, Aurora Rose wondered if he had heard it often from someone else. Everyone is sad once in a while. Rose is fine. Rose is, she's not a sad person, or whatever you're trying to imply. You're filling her head with lies, demon. And with that, he rose and looked away, then dealt a blow to the girl in the face with the pommel of his sword. It was horrible to watch. The rounded metal end sank into the girl's nose noiselessly. There was no expected crack of the cartilage or snap of the bone. The girl's features simply crumpled like the metal around the metal like a pillow being crushed. And then her face slowly popped back into place. Don't bother, Philip, the princess said wearily. It won't work. And besides, she's right. No, she's not, the prince cried. You're a happy, cheerful, beautiful girl, and she's trying to turn you into something you're not, to kill you with those ideas. I pricked my own finger. Philip stared at her. Even the girl looked surprised. How does the story go? Aurora Rose asked tiredly. The fairies took me to to the castle where, sad about losing the love of my life, I sat alone weeping, and Maleficent cast a spell over you, Philip whispered. She hypnotized you, worked her evil magic on you until she controlled your thoughts and led you to the secret room with the spindle where she guided your hand. She did open the secret passageway to a room with the spinning wheel. At least that's what I assume it was, never having seen one before, the princess admitted. And yes, I think she did try to control my thoughts. But for goodness sake, she appeared like an evil green ball of fire and told me to follow her. Who would listen to an evil green ball of fire? A total idiot. But I had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. The curse sort of gathered itself around me as midnight approached. I knew I was going to die or sleep forever or something, and I was completely fine with that. The prince's face was a study of shock and surprise. Philip, she said, searching for words, I'd been by myself in the woods for 16 years, at least 5 years too long, and I had finally met you. You really were like someone coming out of my dreams and into my life. And then, as soon as that happened, it was over. It was like it was all on purpose. My aunts whisked me away on the night you were supposed to meet them and threw me into a whole new situation with parents I'd never known and a wedding to someone I'd never met, set for the next very day. It was too much. I wanted out. Death was better than living through that much disappointment, and sleep was more than welcome. Philip looked away from her to the ground, eyes bright with tears. Well, that was deeply buried secret, the little girl said. Even I didn't know about it. Why didn't you just run away? Philip cried. If you were so scared and miserable. I don't know, the princess said, frustrated with herself. It didn't even occur to me. I didn't think to. The spindle seemed like the only reasonable option. No, there's always options other than killing yourself, the prince said, shaking his head. You could have, I don't know. And that's the nature of her, let's say, sickness. Her, well, me, the girl spoke politely, like a professor whose clever students had finally figured out the answer themselves. The mind traps itself. She couldn't see any way out. Everything seems too hard, too difficult, too tiring, too unlikely, too prone to failure, too inescapable. And with each pronouncement, Aurora Rose wilted. Each thing the girl said was absolutely true, had always been true. It was as if it was finally recognized by her mind and her body as she said it. The familiar black lethargy came over her. The little girl smiled, far too widely for her thin, tiny features. Go to sleep, little princess. This world, any world, is too much for you. Aurora Rose felt her eyes become heavy. The ground seemed to grow up or through her, both supporting her and pulling her down into its embrace. Between blinking images, she saw Philip struggling to reach her. It didn't seem he was trying very hard, though. He wasn't coming anywhere close to her. Maybe he was giving up too. Or possibly it was the black thorny vines that were snaking up out of the ground and wrapping around his limbs, holding him back. It didn't matter. Her eyes closed, filled with a permanent sap, and her limbs relaxed. She heard Philip rustling, but finally growing still. All was silence and beautiful blackness, and then a single sound. A quiet groan from the stalwart Philip, who never complained about anything. She cracked open her eyes. The prince was now lashed tightly to a tree by vines, and they were still tightening. Thorns pressed into his flesh. His face was white as he struggled to breathe, but was obviously losing the fight. There would be no rescue by him, or for him, or for the hundreds of people lying asleep in a castle somewhere in the real world. And it's your fault, Aurora Rose. Usually being yelled at, even by her own mind, only made her want to run away more, to escape into herself. She winced and shifted uncomfortably. There's an entire kingdom of people asleep at Maleficent's mercy, depending on you to rescue them. This is your quest. This is your adventure. This was her quest. This was her duty. The little girl must have noticed something shifting in the princess's countenance. She barely moved, and another heavy black wave of lethargy crawled over Aurora Rose and pressed against her like a physical weight. What could one princess do against a powerful fairy? A fake world, an army of inhuman guards. What was the point of trying? She was only going to fail. And then a single image came forward and burned itself into the back of her eyes. Lady Astrid. Lady Astrid bleeding out on the floor, a once energetic and funny little woman reduced to a pile of lifeless flesh. Somewhere out in the real world, her husband wouldn't even know that she was dead yet. Aurora Rose began to struggle to her feet. Her legs felt like stone. Her arms ached like she was sick. She ground her teeth together, stepping forward and swung her sword. The girl deflected the attack but stepped backwards as she did so. You should give up, the girl whispered. Defeat loomed ugly and unavoidable around the princess. She staggered under the fear of failure. With a moan, she stabbed poorly at the girl again, trying to continue the fight, trying to stay awake. The girl knocked her sword aside easily, and then she lunged. It didn't seem like a blunted wooden toy sword could do any damage. Its pointed tip just grazed the princess's left thigh, but it sliced through her flesh like cloth. Aurora Rose gulping, fell back, gulping in pain. It looked like a clean cut, with the precision of a line and the immediate flow of blood. It felt like a jagged, ugly ripping of her skin and the pain of 1,000 swords dragging across her, like it had been made by a rippled knife Maleficent had used on Lady Astrid. The noise that came from her was an animal scream of pain. You cannot destroy me, the little girl hissed. I am you, princess. I am your sadness. I am your melancholy. I am your despair. She moved to lunge again. The princess just barely brought up her own weapon in time to block her. You can't sword fight, Philip struggled to say with a few gulps of air. I know that, she shrieked, almost throwing her blade away. What could she do? Nothing. She had no useful skills, no strength, no. And then she stopped. Philip was looking at her desperately, meaningfully. She could sword fight. He was right. He was trying to tell her something. So what could she do? The little girl waited patiently at the ready, knees bent, anticipating her next move. She probably didn't expect an attack from something other than the princess. So the girl suddenly stumbled backward as a rock grew out of the ground right under her feet, like it was heaved up by the frost, but quickly making wonderful little grinding and crunching gravel sounds as it rose. The girl steadied herself. Clever, she said. Aurora Rose imagined another rock. The girl pitched forward. Another and another and another rock. She concentrated on raising all of them in a circle around the girl's feet. Her opponent fell forward and backward like a rag doll, shaken by an angry child. As soon as she found her footing, the girl shot the princess a look and hissed a single word. Disappointing. Immediately, Aurora Rose sank under the weight of the meaning. The ground rushed up to embrace her again as she remembered all of the people who found her utterly disappointing. Her aunts, who asked her to do so little, returning home and seeing nothing was done, not even her own nook swept. She was still in bed, contemplating the clouds. Maleficent, humoring the princess, but obviously disgusted with her studies. The queen's patience with, but disinterest in, the balls and dismal of Aurora's desire to help. Aurora Rose at her own ability to find an escape from a marriage she didn't want and a family she didn't love, resorting to death because it was easy. She closed her eyes, frowning as hard as she could, trying to force pain into her head, trying to will some little bit of spirit and anger. She tried thinking of Lady Astrid again, but this time felt only sadness. Rose, Philip croaked, you were going to end it all. Thought you had lost me forever, but I'm here. Always be here for you, telling you not to go to sleep, to get up. The princess tiredly regarded the scene. The prince tied up in the background, the girl with her tiny sword, the tall ancient trees growing up into whatever surrounding them. The trees that might have had something to do with her subconscious thoughts. Her memories more solid, twice as many as a normal person had, twice as useless. The girl raised her wooden sword. Rose, Philip sobbed. There was a creaking sound, a very, very loud creaking sound. The girl looked around confused. Time became strange. It seemed to take forever for the infinitely tall, infinitely old tree to fall. The little girl looked back and forth anxiously, trying to find the source of the sound. Then there was a skip in the connected moments, like when the girl flickered out of existence, disappearing from one place and reappearing in another. The immense tree was halfway down, and then it smashed solidly on top of the little girl, just brushing into the princess's feet. Philip cried out in anguish, Rose! The depression and solemnness drained out of her as the demon hissed and bubbled and died. I'm all right, she called back shakily. The exhaustion, pain, and weakness remained, however. Was that you? Yes, she answered with a faint smile. She forced herself up, using some of the branches for balance. There was no sizzle of buried thoughts. The tree was dead. She apologized to the memory it represented. When she got close to, she saw that unlike the other trees in the rest of the forest, it was riddled with bird holes and had large, barkless patches of black, slimy wood. Not a healthy tree to begin with. What did it all mean? The trunk was too immense to go around, so she climbed on top. She paused there, balancing for a moment among the prickly dead pine branches, and surveyed the scene below her. It was a new perspective, seeing Philip from above. She filed that thought for later and carefully went down the other side. The upper part of the little girl's body was exposed. The tree had crushed the rest of it. Her limbs and head were turned to impossible, sickening angles, and a trickle of red blood leaked from the side of her mouth. Her eyelashes were long and golden, and it was hard to focus on the fact that she had just been trying to kill the prince and princess. In death, at least, she seemed almost like a normal little girl. Sorry, the princess said, unsure if she meant it. The girl's eyes shot open. Violet irises focused on hers. You haven't won, princess, she said with a voice that creaked. Hear this, and let's see how you deal with it. Your parents are dead. Maleficent has just killed them.
Well, that sucks.
Wow. That was brutal.
Well, let's move on to the interlude. Many people were dying. As midnight approached, first one and then another, court nobles suddenly began to start bleeding. They thrashed and gasped and choked like fish thrown out onto dry land. Fauna and Meriwether flew around frantically, trying to tend to them, staunching the wounds with clean bandages. Here, trying a healing spell. There, nothing worked, and sometimes all it seemed to do was prolong their agony. Flora stayed as calm as she could in the midst of it, hovering in the air, willing the universe to help her as she tried to reach Rose again. She had broken off a piece of her soul and sent it into the sleeping nether realm Maleficent ruled. It was a terrible place, this inside of her adopted niece's head, with the evil fairy running rampant in it. The sleeper tossed and turned and moaned because of whatever had happened in there, and her pricked finger had started bleeding again. Flora bounced through dream forests and nightmare castles, fogs of worry and large blank pieces of stark depression and madness. The golden sparks that represented her loosely held together consciousness barely glittered in the gloom that blanketed the world. Only later, when she had time, would she think about her poor Briar Rose and how it was possible that none of them had seen this darkness within their adopted daughter. Now, however, was the time to act. She felt the tether tying her to the real world grow taut and thin. She couldn't go much farther. She urgently flung out her consciousness, looking for something, anything that could help. But all she could see was murky, worthless gloom and confused shadow people whose spirits were entirely enslaved to Maleficent's spell. There, up ahead, another consciousness, not as bewitched by the false world around it. Not entirely coherent either, but it would have to do. It was aware of itself, and it seemed more than harmless. It seemed like a friend. You, help her. The soul spun around in a tizzy, looking for the source of a communication. Find her, Flora ordered frantically. She is that way. Golden sparkles aligned themselves in the direction of the blackest part of the world, the deepest part of Rose's mind, the place Flora couldn't go. Your release, everyone's freedom depends on it. Help her escape. Help her find us. And then, like a wet stocking pulled too tightly on a clothesline, the strongest of the three fairies was pulled back painfully and quickly to the waking world. Flora! She opened her eyes, torn between fury and worry. Her cohorts were unlikely to have summoned her for anything that wasn't important. Merryweather had her by the arm and was already dragging her. Her eyes were bright, fairy tears, sparkling and sharp, coursed down her cheeks. It's them this time, she cried. Oh, Flora, she's got them. Not wanting to believe what she suspected, Flora let herself be led into the throne room. There, Fauna was hysterically flitting from king to queen, who just scant minutes earlier had been peaceful and sleeping in their giant seats. Now they shivered and convulsed like rag dolls as blood poured out of their hearts. But why? Flora cried. She doesn't need them. In life, King Stefan was both a good king and a faintly humorous man, with his droopy mustache and calm demeanor. Now he rocked and heaved inhumanly, his long face pale, his skin ashen and waxy. The heavy state robes he wore in anticipation of the royal wedding day were thrashed into rags as he tried to escape his own death, still asleep. And Queen Leah, her mother, twitched and pulled from side to side like a hideous puppet's, her sad, peaceful features melting and expanding with desperation. It had been terrible to watch the others be killed this way, but the fairies had known the king and queen since long before they had taken their throne. These humans and their daughter, whom the fairies had watched over, were the closest things to children they had ever had. So they might be forgiven for missing a few tiny sounds, easily lost in the calamity of the sleeping castle, but surely audible to the ears of a fairy. The sound of stone cracking, the sound of shards falling away, tinkling like glass, the sound of a triumphant black wings stretching out of their stony prison, the cackling caw of an evil fairy's raven, taking flight to discover what had become of his mistress. Her power was growing, and the raven was flying home. Then the chapter is, "Oh, fool, I shall go mad." Uh-oh. Is my Kindle dead?
Welcome in Monorail Molly and Raga.
Where's my button at? There it is. It just shut off on me.
Uh-oh.
No, I meant that locked, the screen locked on me. Oh. All right. Oh, fool, I shall go mad. The thorns holding the prince back were already turning black and crumbling away. Aurora Rose helped them along, pulling and ripping, but she didn't really need to do much. They decayed into nothing under her touch. Rose. As soon as his arms were free, Philip wrapped her in a tight hug. She bore it because it felt nice and she was too tired to do much else. Then she collapsed on the ground like a young child or an old doll. "Oh, Rose," Philip said, kneeling down next to her. "I'll never know," she said, voice empty. "I'll never know why they thought it was safer to send me away. I'll never know if they missed me. I'll never know if they really wanted a son instead. I'll never hear them say, I'm sorry, or I love you, or it was the worst mistake we ever made, or even someday when you're a queen, you'll understand. Rose, he stroked her cheek. I will never know what they really looked like, she shrieked. She was finding it hard to breathe. Her lungs moved and her chest heaved in great sudden gasps, but it didn't feel like any air was getting in. How they walked, or hugged, or laughed. Shh. Phillips took her in his arms again and held her tightly. Shh, quiet. Breathe now. I know. It's a terrible thing to lose your parents, even ones you didn't know. Even ones? She hiccuped angrily. Philip bit his lip and took a deep, patient breath. Rose, my mother died, remember? I had issues with her, but she was still my mother. She's gone. She won't see me married or made king or enjoy any grandchildren I would have given her. Oh. Suddenly she felt stupid and even more miserable. What a selfish, horrible beast she was on top of everything else. It was like the only things that mattered were the things that had happened to her. Here was this, albeit somewhat duplicitous prince with an entire past that was very real for him, and she didn't even think about it. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. You're not, and my tragedy doesn't diminish yours. You just found out that your parents are dead. Grieve for them. It's right. I can't do this, Philip, she finally said, covering her eyes with her hands, trying to squish the rest of the tears out. She felt completely drained, beaten up, bloody, weak, and done. I can't. You have to, he said firmly. Take another moment and then get up. Now that your parents are gone, your people really have no one to lead them. You are the only one. You have to save them and and then lead them out of the chaos when we all wake up. I don't even know where we're going, she shouted in despair. She pointed around the tall cathedral of trees, then at the path, which petered out. I don't know if all our cottage even exists here. It was all a long shot, wasn't it? Find the cottage, maybe find the fairies, maybe find a way out. We don't know if any of this will really work. And that was when they heard the singing. A mighty woodsman swings his axe, alone among the trees, lonely with no girl or wife until a maid he sees, I can't take much more of this, she said in a low voice. No, wait, Philip said, cocking his head. There was a strange look on his face. I know that song. It's going to be a demon or a sociopathic villager or a rabid fox or some sort of horrible little boy who looks like you with a giant spiky mace. Fear not, the voice called, coming closer. I heard shouts. I am sent on a quest to give succor and aid. I sing, to keep the bears away. If they hear you coming, they sort of just amble along away from you. Fear not, a king approaches, a king of the wilds. If you be true, you have nothing to fear. Let's go, the princess said, finding the strength to leap up. Come on, let's avoid this. But Philip held her and pointed in the direction the voice was coming from, like a hunter waiting for a stag to appear. But if you're one of those demons sent by that hag Maleficent, I would stay away, for I wield a mighty staff and cudgel. Out from behind a tree stepped someone who was very probably not a demon. He wore a ragged black and red cloak with torn orange sleeves and undershirt. His boots had probably once been fine, but now were bound up and relaced with vines and awkward pieces of badly cured leather and sinew. What was likely white hair sprouting in all directions from his head and brow and neck and chin was gray and brown and well dusted with dirt and twigs and leaves. One of his eyes was missing, the skin hanging loose over the socket in sad bags. He did indeed have a mighty staff, or more precisely, a giant branch used as a crude walking stick. His cudgel was just a large skull-shaped rock he carried in the other hand. Father, Philip whispered. Philip? No, it cannot be. The old man's voice fell and he looked around distractedly. I am seeing things again, like I used to, before I lost the bad eye that made me see things that weren't there, before it was put out to keep me from lying to keep it from lying to me. Father, it is me, Philip said, choking. He ran forward and threw his arms around the crazy, dirty old man. The princess watched in silence, trying to put it all together. It was too shocking to make sense. The king began to weep and clasped his bear-like arms tightly around Philip. Philip, I wish you were not here. Glad as I am to see you, I only remained sane at all by assuming you were safe, away from all of this, slipped out to be with your little peasant girl. You were right about getting away from the castle. It is the 14th century after all, isn't it? Oh, father, you have been out here all this time by yourself, Philip said, his own eyes wet. The exile, Aurora Rose murmured. I am so sorry. You, King Herbert rounded on King Herbert rounded on her, Maleficent's little ward. No, no, Philip said. It turns out she was the peasant I thought I was going to marry, but she's actually Princess Aurora. She was in the woods because she was sent away to be raised by the fairies. Wait, I remember that, I think, King Hubert said, raising his eyebrows. It stretched the skin over his socket oddly. He scratched it thoughtfully. Wait, what? First off, that's just gross. But we're going to go on. Maybe we should start from the beginning, Philip said. But quickly, time is short. Time, King Hubert said bleakly. I've been wandering in these woods for years, lad. All I have is time. She let Philip do the talking. It was strange once her adventures outside the castle had begun to suddenly be sitting aside and letting someone tell the story. It was both restful and unsettling. But I don't understand. Tell me again. Why was he exiled? What did he do? Philip finally asked when he finished the story. He turned to her as if sensing she felt left out. She shrugged. I think it wasn't much, really. He wanted some say in the ruling of his castle, but it probably had more to do with his presence in the castle. She frowned, thinking. There was no easy explanation for his being there. He was there in the real world because of our wedding. I'll bet Maleficent was afraid of some sort of irregularity in her dream world, of him or me remembering something. King Hubert nodded. When that witch threw me out, she said something like, and now we'll have no problems from you, King Hubert. But it was in a nasty tone, nasty woman. And then what happened to you? Philip asked, reaching up as if to stroke his father's brow. Then he stopped, seeming to think better of touching the king in so casual of a manner. Once exiled, did I give in to fate? The king demanded. I did not. The fools in there thought the world was dead out there. Didn't even take a look. Just took her word for it. It was beautiful, green and glorious. Got to go on walkabout. Haven't done that since I was a lad. Ate off the land, children. Nuts and mushrooms and rabbits and fruit of the trees. Healthy, I tell you. Sometimes I would run into some of Maleficent's minions, he added philosophically. The skin over his missing eye twitched. Had to arm myself. Didn't have my father's sword anymore. Made myself new weapons. King of the wilds. Hubert may be exiled, but he is still king. Aurora Rose found herself putting her arm around the old man as he got worked up again. At her soft touch, he jumped and looked around. Then he smiled and settled down. I couldn't find my kingdom, he continued quietly. It shouldn't have been hard. Stefan and I could see each other's towers on a clear day. We joked about putting up a rope between them, making quick work of a visit, but it wasn't there. It shouldn't have been there. It should have been there, but it wasn't. This is the world inside Aurora's mind, Father, Philip exclaimed gently. She's asleep. We're in her dream. She has never been to our kingdom. Quite right, quite right. Lost in some girl's sorceress dream, Hubert said faintly. Nothing is ever quite what it seems. The further I got from that blasted castle, the more things got confused, but also clearer. Memories of another world came back. The real world, I suppose. Stefan and Leah, as good people, good friends. It was all mixed up, rather like the mind of a young lady, I suppose. Instead of taking umbrage at that, the princess asked the question that had been bothering her. Isn't it odd that you found us just when we were talking about my parents? When I was about to give up on the quest? Hubert drew himself up and looked smug. Nothing is odd in these woods, dear lady. I was called by a higher power. Some being, an angel, a protective spirit, guided me to you. Told me you were lost. Told me that I should seek you out and guide you home. The fairies, Aurora Rose whispered. It must have been them. Fairies? The king asked, intrigued. I suppose it could have been. All golden and twinkly now that I think about it. Brilliant. It's all coming together, Philip said with a sigh. But can you help us with what we're looking for? She asked, pressing him. We need to find a cottage in the woods. Looks like the one where I grew up in the real world with my aunts. Small with a thatched roof. I think. I know all these woods, dear lady, the king said, getting up and giving her a deep bow. Even when they change, which they do, I knew duty would call. And here I am answering. Needed at last. Follow me, children. He marched forward, a serious look on his face, holding his staff high and his rock firmly. He wasn't like this in real life, Philip whispered as they set off after him. Aurora Rose gave him a look. All right, maybe a little, but a lot of it was for show. Underneath, he was a stern, solid ruler, big drinker, big eater, and a very good friend to those who were good friends to him. But if it came to executing criminals of the realm, he had no problem taking a sword and doing it himself. She shuddered, though she wasn't sure if it was for the Hubert of the past or the Hubert of the present. Philip was speaking about him like he was already gone. They followed him on what seemed to, at first, to be a random meander through the trees, completely at odds with where they had been walking before. Hubert strode like a proper king, as if his robes were still long and thick and trailing behind him. But he also kept a watchful eye on everything around him, shadows, the world above, the distant movements. He wasn't nervous, precisely, just aware. It also looked like he occasionally waved to certain trees and rocks. The princess decided not to call him out on it. From the way he almost saluted one large boulder, it was obvious that whether or not he actually had discourse with the landscape, he definitely recognized it. And Aurora Rose, broken and beaten up, grieving and wounded, was just relieved to let someone else take the lead for a while. It took all of her concentration just to keep up with the father and son, swinging her stiff and injured left leg into place with every stride. Her side hurt when she breathed. It was a strange pain that felt wrong, like bones were doing something they shouldn't. She wondered what they would have done if Hubert hadn't come along, if the fairies hadn't figured out how to send him. For the first time on the journey, Philip walked ahead of her, keeping pace with his father. They didn't talk about anything serious. They just exchanged the occasional strange, manly platitudes that seemed out of keeping with the present situation. Philip would remark on the weather, and his father would guffaw and tell a story about a terrible downpour during which he had hidden in a small cave, along with 2 foxes and a badger. Aurora Rose wondered if she had made that rain. She wondered if it reflected something else that had gone on in her head. Eventually, Philip seemed to remember the princess and dropped back to be with her. You doing all right? He asked. Not great, but all right, she admitted. We're almost there, he assured her. They wandered down the path, not quite touching, not quite bumping shoulders. The sun must have climbed high beyond the trees. Time passed and the light shifted, filtered though it was. My lady, King Hubert said. He swept his hand forward dramatically and bowed. There, startling in the middle of nowhere, was a path of neat little mossy flagstones that led into the darkness of the forest. Her heart began thumping. The path didn't look familiar exactly, but she was overwhelmed with nostalgia, which was strange when she thought about it. In the real world, she was less than a day away from her home in the forest, and less than a day had passed since she had left it. And in this world, she had never been there at all. But she felt oddly tall, huge really, as if she was coming back to some place she hadn't seen since she was a small child. She started to run down the path, but Philip grabbed her hand and held her back. Doesn't this look familiar to you? She whispered. It looks very much like an area where we met, Philip said guardedly, but not exactly. The trees and plants are the same. And the rocks, she cried in delight, seeing a giant gray boulder with sides so tall and straight it was like a small mountain with sheer cliffs. This time she did try to run, and was rewarded by stumbling over her bad leg and experiencing a painful tear in her belly. She bent over, hand to her waist. Philip and Hubert looked at her with worry. Are you all right? No, she realized. Her body wasn't up to much more adventuring. But she shook her head, put up her hand. She was fine. Let's just continue on, she suggested. Then there was a crackle in the underbrush behind them, where they had come from. It wasn't loud and it wasn't heavy. It was, however, extremely ominous. I thought none of Maleficent's demons could make it here, Philip said warily. Here in the deepest part of a rose's mind. That wasn't a bear, Hubert pointed out. I know from bears. The little girl back there wasn't a demon, the princess said warily, and she could be just, waiting for us to come back out. We can't hide in the deepest part of my mind forever. There was another very tiny shuffle of leaves, and the sound of air sucking in from someplace else, a very unnatural humph. Called upon again, Hubert said enthusiastically in response, straightening his robes. I'll deal with the demon. You two go on. Finish your adventure. What? Cried Philip. No, we should all stick together. Father. No, lad, the old man said with a sad smile. This is my part of the story. Yours lies ahead. He's right, Philip, Aurora Rose said gently. It's the best plan. Maybe he can delay whatever is out there until we get done whatever he needs to. Listen here, my boy. She's a smart one. Desperately for a moment. Then he set his jaw and nodded. All right, thank you, Father. We would never have found it without you, he said, embracing the old man warmly. We will see you on the other side, the princess said gratefully, when we all wake up. Hubert gave her a funny look. The peasant is the princess, eh? I don't think you're either, young lady. I don't know what you are. Maybe you don't either. But I don't think you'll see me on the other side. Exactly the same way, I mean. What do you mean? Philip asked, trying to keep his voice calm. What I'm trying to say is, well, the king flustered and fought for words. Son, I've been lost in these woods for years now. I had some absolutely top notch adventures and made quite a few furry friends. Put some dreadful demons out of my misery, but I don't think all of me has been entirely found. Do you understand? No, Philip said with a worried look. Ah, well, Hubert clapped him on the shoulder. Don't worry about it. You have bigger issues to deal with. Kingdoms to save, princesses to, well, I don't know. We'll talk later. I wish we could have talked before, really talked. His remaining eye grew glassy. Then he raised his branch in a kingly salute. I shall defeat anything that would attack you and hinder you in your glorious quest. And when I have persevered, I shall make my own way back to that infernal vine-covered castle. You may have further need of my aid later on when dealing with that witch. And honestly, I should like to be there when she gets what's what. He gave one last smile, then he turned with great slow dignity and headed back into the shadows of the forest. He had disappeared like a wild animal in 30 paces. Philip watched him go. Emotion struggled for dominance on his face. What just happened? He asked in a strangled voice. Something just happened. I feel like we just said goodbye somehow. Aurora Rose put a hand on his arm, her first urge to touch him since their fight. But she wasn't thinking of an us or a we or a him. She saw only Philip, the boy who had been upbeat and brave and inspiring on this journey, brought to the edges of tears. He looked down at her hand, the movement dislodged in a single drop, which flew to the ground, dampening a salty spot on the leaves. Then she shook himself and patted. Then he shook himself and patted her hand. Let's go, he whispered. She nodded. She could almost ignore the little pains all over her body, lost in the satisfaction she felt from her surroundings. Familiar oak leaves crunched on the ground, tracing their strange shapes in pale dirt, looking like harmless baby monsters. The smells they made as they crushed them were so heated she wanted to swim in the air. It was fall there, she suddenly realized, while it had been other seasons elsewhere in the dream world. Fall was her favorite after spring. Small burnished brown acorns with their cute tan caps littered the ground. She used to collect them, and it was difficult to stay present. Her consciousness had to be constantly and reluctantly pulled back to the world around her. Every part of her wanted to sink into her memories. The warm ocean of completeness she knew was there now, easily dipped into. Come on, the prince said, giving her his arm to lean on. This time she took it right away. She spotted the cottage first. It's sort of like that place I was kidnapped from, Philip said. It was a pleasant little shack, wood and thatched roof, funny little rooms, added a higgledy-piggledy and one tall chimney reaching up, crooked above it all. Little puffs of smoke came out, but it wasn't quite right. She was pretty sure the stones had been normal stone colors, not bright, shiny browns and whites and blacks like a picture painted by a child. And there hadn't been a flower garden on the roof, sweet peas dangling over the sides in front of a window. But it was close enough, she decided. There was a woman waiting in the front of the door, which somehow neither of them noticed at first. A simple dark green dress and a lighter green apron fell in clean, crisp folds over her body. A pair of thick graying braids hung from the sides of her head behind her ears. Her face was smooth, but for a few deep wrinkles. She seemed inclined towards peace and kindness. Come in, children, she urged them. Quickly now. It's another trap, Philip said uncertainly, but even he could feel this was different somehow. I know her, the princess said, confused but intrigued. No, this is all right, Philip. This cottage is the safest place in your mind, Aurora Rose. The girl jumped at her full name, what she had begun to think of as her proper name. Please hurry, the woman urged them. The princess looked Philip in the eye, and for once she was reassuring him. He accepted her near motionless nod, and the two stepped forward. Dun dun dun. There you go. Long chapter.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a rough book to get through, guys. We're working on it. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Once we have this one, hopefully the next one's better. I think it will be. Like the Jafar one was great.
Yeah. This is starting to get good, though. I mean, these two chapters.
It is starting to get good now. I would give you that.
It just took a while to get there.
It did indeed. What do you think?
I think from looking at the little progress bar on the bottom of my screen, I think we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting very close.
Very close. Let's see. Next chapter is childhood haunts.
Yep.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What is it?
10 chapters, including the epilogue.
Oh, that's all we got left?
Yep.
Sweet.
One of those chapters is an interlude.
Yeah, so next week you'll read the chapter. It's like 20-something pages long again. Then I'll have an interlude in a chapter. Technically a very tiny chapter. It's like 4 pages long. The interlude's only 1 page long, and then one chapter after that.
Okay. So that'll get us through
that'll get us very close.
That'll have us near the end. So yeah.
That'd be 4 more of the 10, so we'll have 6 left.
Yep.
So
Debbie Thunert said she'd rather listen than read. Corby says I agree.
Look, the book is not bad. It's just confusing.
Yeah,
it's a difficult read, but once I think when we wrap it up, I think we're gonna be okay with it. I think we're gonna be happy.
Yeah, Kembo, welcome in. Good to see you. I'm glad we've persevered with it because the first half of the book was very confusing. But
it was all over the place. Wendy B, hello.
We're getting there. Hey, Wendy. Howdy. So we're getting there.
Making it. So next week we're nearing the end. We got probably 2, maybe 3 weeks left.
Yeah.
And the book will be done. And we start the next one finally onto. I think it's is it the Beast one? I don't even remember.
I think it's the Beast one. Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember anymore because it's been so long.
Yep.
We'll have to look a bit closer.
There's a new one that just came out. It's available on Shop Disney.
Number 17.
Yep. And it's based on Brave, Merida.
Yep. So we'll get to that one. So
we'll get there.
This one was just difficult to get through. We're working on it. Once this one's over, I think we're going to get back to some really good stuff. We're going to have,
as weird as this one is, I.B. Rebecca says, I strongly dislike Aurora's personality in this. As weird as this one is, it's still interesting to hear a story based on characters that we know so well.
It is. I guess my struggle with this, though, is like Sleeping Beauty is one of my least favorite Disney stories, Disney movies. I mean, it's a good story. It comes with one of the biggest villains that there is, but I don't know, for some reason, it just drags on for me. Yeah. It's not something I go back and read a lot, but it's got some iconic, the fairies are in it, and then the whole story, and then Maleficent. It's got some great stuff, but
I would dare say almost Maleficent is the most popular thing out of this story.
Well, yeah, that's easy. I mean, that's not even close. I think that is.
Snickerdoodle says this book is taking forever. Yeah, I would agree.
Well, part of that's us because we've taken several breaks.
We've had several breaks with this one.
We're struggling to get through it too. So.
Trips and all, and my surgeries and whatnot. So.
Yep.
Yeah, this one's taken us a while to get through, and that's partly on us.
I love the series.
I'm not a fan of this series.
I love the series, but just not this.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Aladdin one.
Yeah, the Aladdin ones I loved. I thought it was great.
This
It was
is an
twisted.
interesting take on this one.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's been very confusing with the back and forth and
Yep.
Heather and Jan. So,
All right. So moving on.
moving on.
What do you got to show that's creepy? I got 3 things to talk about and something that's kind of creepy if we want to show it again.
This is going to be very silly. This is going to be a quick thing to show. McDonald's has some Guardians or Marvel toys.
Oh yeah.
These are I have a feeling these are probably left over from Thor: Love and Thunder. Mom got a Happy Meal the other night.
Yeah.
And got this Groot, and this has to be the weirdest looking Groot
I'm going to present you.
and ugliest Groot I've ever seen. Here you go.
He doesn't look that, but his face looks all jacked up.
The face is all jacked up.
There's no wrinkles in the face, is what it is.
It's so smooth, and those eyes are weird, and there's just a bump for a nose. That it's just
I don't know.
weird.
He doesn't look that bad to me.
And there's a button on the back of his head that makes him wave at you.
Yeah. I don't think I don't know. Yeah, he looks like he got stung by a bee. That's exactly right.
Donnie Murphy says looks creepy. I agree with you. That's horrible, and I love Groot, says Nicole. Groot talks. It's Groot talks.
Oh man. So a couple things to talk about, Chris.
Uh-huh.
First off, Nicole sent me a really cool pin set, D23 pin set.
Oh, nice.
It is surprisingly, it's the 35th anniversary of Hollywood Studios.
Wow.
It's a D23 gold member only pin set, and it's only $34.99 limited edition.
Really?
It looks like this.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
They're black and white. You got Toy Story, Star Wars, The Main Gate, Tower of Terror, and Rock and Roller Coaster, and then Pizza Rizzo.
That is awesome.
Muppets. So there's 5 pins in there. It comes on a little background too, like that. So
that's cool.
So yeah, there are 5 pins out that $34.99 for the 35th anniversary of Hollywood Studios.
That's awesome.
So
those are still available, or did they sell out?
They just started selling. I think it went on sale today or tomorrow. Well, I think they're available right now. You just got to go to the D23. Second thing is, did you see the Mufasa trailer drop?
I watched the Mufasa trailer.
What were your thoughts?
I'll be honest. When I saw it was live action, I was like, oh no. But when I watched the whole trailer, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I love the live action, so it doesn't bother me, but it looked so cool to me. Yeah. I am super excited. It even started with some of the music from The Lion King. So,
yeah.
But the music they were playing in the trailer sounded like it was good new Lion King music, like it fit. So, and the animals look real. I mean, it was really well done, I think. So I think
it sounded like it was kind of keeping thematic tone.
Yep. Lion King. I would agree 100%. So I'm excited for it.
I am too. It looks like it's going to be good. Stacy says, I'm correct. The Groot is from Thor: Love and Thunder. I Googled it and found a listing on eBay. Really? Do they want much for it? Because that's got to be the most hideous Groot I've ever seen.
And then the last thing.
Yep.
Tomorrow, in an hour and a half, there's a nice new big Dreamlight Valley patch.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Oops. Thought we could talk about that briefly and discuss.
I
lost it. Where'd it go?
I heard $3 or best offer. Just started selling pins and it's on Shop Disney. I just pulled it up actually.
All right.
Before we go to Dreamlight Valley talk, this is a new Cinderella dry erase jumbo pen with easel.
Oh, I don't like dry erase pins.
$34.99. That one is 2.25 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide.
What do you do? Write your initials on it?
I guess so.
I don't like it.
There you go. So there's that one. And then this is funny enough, this is the Sleeping Beauty cast pen.
Yeah. I think I have that one.
I don't have this one. Kind of cool. You got Maleficent. There's Philip. There's Stefan. And his name just left me. Her father.
Stefan is her father.
Okay.
Hubert is his.
Hubert is his. Yeah, that's right.
Humbert.
And there's the fairy godmothers and then the henchmen. So, and then there is your D23 Hollywood Studios 35th anniversary ones. Those are cool.
Yep. Looks good. So Dreamlight Valley. Here's what stuff that's coming out tomorrow.
Yes,
we get a new character.
Is it Oswald?
It's Daisy Duck.
Daisy.
We get Daisy Duck. So this is for everybody that have the regular version. So you get Daisy Duck. There's going to be a new building. It's going to be the boutique. And it's going to be a new building dedicated to sharing your personal style with your friends. So you can display and share custom touch of magic designs on both your clothing and your furniture.
Oh.
So you're going to be able to help her redecorate and other stuff. So it's going to be like that. The new quest path is a day at Disney. It's more Disney Parks magic. You'll get new dream styles for Daisy Duck, new attractions to place in your village.
Yes.
And then new dream styles for Daisy and Minnie, and snacky little animal companions, among other rewards. The other thing that it does is we can now ride those attractions.
Finally.
Including the old ones and the new ones. So it says you can ride as many of the attractions available in the Valley, including attractions from last year's Star Path, and you can take a selfie to commemorate it while you're on it. There is a warning that says when optionally riding attractions, those with motion sensitivities can switch to selfie mode for increased comfort by pressing change camera mode upon interacting with the attraction. So if you have motion sickness and you don't want to watch what's going on in front of you, you can turn it to selfie mode so it's looking at the character.
That's cool.
Villagers will now send you mail.
Wow.
So they can send you mail. So check it often because they will also sometimes send you gifts. Then it's there's photo mode in Valley visits now. So you can take selfies in other people's, like if I was to come to your Valley, we can all take pictures. They also it's not only your camera, many of the activities you're used to doing solo are now possible with friends. So like if you come over, we can now both fishing, gardening, mining, cooking, crafting, and if you're on Eternity Isle, time bending, we can do together now.
Nice.
So we don't have to do that. And then they also implemented changes to the camera last update that people did not like, so they're reverting those back to the original camera.
Oh, good.
And they're doing some other stuff like dream snaps and all that. Weekly shop rotations are now comprised of 8 bundles and items. You can preview clothing on your avatar now before buying it. Things like that. Now, so that was all the regular stuff. Now, if you have Eternity Isle, which is the expansion pack that I bought, I think you got it too, correct?
Yes.
You also get another guest. Oswald is coming. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit is available for those who purchased the Rift in Time thing, as well as it's Act 2. It's called The Spark of Imagination, so there's a whole new story that goes with it. You can use your mist to unlock the Royal Hourglass to level 4, which will now allow you to collect new ancient parts new furniture items to craft, new fragments and their associated furniture items, inspired by the iconic Disney and Pixar stories, such as Ratatouille's metro entrance. And then you can take control of the new dismantle and upcycle features of the time bending station to repurpose old parts to make them new into something you can use. So, and you can do ancient cores into currency you can spend on and craft other items within the category. So you can use your old stuff to fix your new stuff.
Okay.
You can also make friends with new variants of animals, companions. And you can collect new Scramble Coin figures, such as Mike Wazowski and Oswald. And then there's a bunch of bug fixes. But pretty big update. It's a free update. So we get
that's a good thing. So the rides that he's talking about, and yes, Stacy, my camera's going to keep going in and out for a minute here. The rides he's talking about. So like we have here the Tower of Terror, Hollywood Tower of Terror. There, that is a ride. Over here we have the
Tower of Terror is not a ride, is it? It's just a skin.
No, it is a ride. So if you come over here and interact with it.
Oh, I need to put it in my valley then. I thought it was a skin.
Then if you look up there, Steve, the elevator falls and the doors open.
Oh, I gotta get that in my valley.
So
okay.
Yep. There's
what else? You also have like there it is, Ferris wheel.
You got the Ferris wheel from DCA. Dumbo. Over here's the flying Dumbo.
Isn't there like a teacup ride too?
There's a teacup ride down here. Yeah.
So all those are now rideable. So we can get them and it'll go around while we're in them. Along with was the Tower of Terror a purchasable item?
I believe it was.
I need to log on real quick.
Yeah.
Because then you could also, we're getting new items. We're getting new attractions that we can place. And last time there were 3, so we might get 3 more.
Yeah. So there you go.
How cool would it be if they put like a Spaceship Earth in there where it went through the whole thing?
That would be cool.
Like you're riding Spaceship Earth.
That would be, yeah. Sam says she just got the Tower of Terror.
Nice.
So, actually, it's available for purchase right now, Steve.
What is?
In the item shop, the Tower of Terror.
Okay, so I'm going to keep the cloud save because I don't know what it was. Let me go in and look right now to see if I've got it. I thought that was a skin, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Or if I did buy it, I still thought it was a skin, so I didn't use it.
So here's the deal. And Sam streamed a little bit of Dreamlight Valley last night after we ended the chill. And I think she may do that again tonight, Sam, over on Samantha Lowe's channel. But Thursday night, after Jeff and Corey, we may do Dreamlight Valley, and it'll be the return of the voices.
So, all the voices are back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what we can do.
Let's see here. Where's that show up at, Chris?
In the item shop. So when you go,
where at in your inventory?
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, that's a cool. I got Ariel's mirror, Ursula's mirror, vanity.
So
cool. So I got to buy all this stuff from Scrooge first.
Yeah. There've been a few updates since the last time we streamed and played.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, well, we might do that Thursday night and catch up. And I've got a few quests that I haven't even completed because I was saving them to do on stream. But
nice, dude.
And we'll have new stuff to do too. So
there's all kinds of stuff in here I haven't done. All right, that new stuff. I mean,
yeah.
To buy.
So,
what's that? I have that. I have that.
Thank you,
Ooh,
Nicole, for
curtains.
dropping the link for Sam.
I bought stage curtains, but it was only the right one. The left one's not available.
That's funny.
Why can't I do this?
Yeah, I'm excited for the update.
Yeah, it gives me something to do again.
Yep.
And we got a new character. 2 new characters.
So
And odds
tomorrow
of
night
all-
during D&T, if Steve is looking at his computer a lot,
No.
especially while Shep's doing the birthday song, yeah.
That maybe. What time's it update, Chris? Is it mid or 3 o'clock here?
It usually is, 3 a.m. Eastern.
All right, finally got all the stuff now.
Or did it drop at like 6 a.m. one time?
I don't know.
One drop they did do it like 6 a.m. or something. So
If I go to the shop, will it tell me if I already have it?
yeah, it shows green that it's already owned if you have it.
Shop. Oh, it says I own it.
There you go.
So that's not a skin.
Nope.
There's a fairy's bloss home. Is that a skin?
That's a skin.
Okay.
And then on page 2, there's a frosted fortress, and that's a skin as well.
Okay. Oh, there's a classic fox backpack. Yep. I'll save my moonstone. Thank you very much. All right, so I got to go place the Tower of Terror somewhere.
Can you ride it? No, not the fox. You can't.
The Tower of Terror, you can tomorrow.
Tomorrow we can. The Tower of Terror. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't have it out. So, man, I'm running out of space. So people are going to lose their homes, or I'm going to lose my garden. One of the two.
Thursday night we'll ride rides and show the updates. So
where am I going to put it? Oh, you know what? It might fit right here if I pick all this crap up.
That's something. It's funny that they added that, Steve, because me and you talked about that like
we have
a month or two ago. Like, we got all these rides and you can't ride them. You just sit there and look at them. That's no fun. I want to ride these rides. So what'll be bad is probably in the next update, Steve, they'll introduce Genie Plus. And we'll have to ride those rides and not have to wait.
We'll have to pay to ride them.
Otherwise, there'll be a line of characters there, and you'll have to just wait in line.
All right, let's see if I can get the Tower Terror to fit right in here.
Wait, is Carousel? Corby says, "Wait, is Carousel progress in the game? I'll have to play catch up over the summer if so. It's not there yet.
It is not.
No.
Oh man, how big is the
Country
Tower
Bears aren't either.
Tower of Terror. So if we go in here to place it,
Angie says, "Don't jinx us like that, Chris."
Well, what furniture? Let's see, what would that be under?
I don't know. A lot of times I'll go to all just to show everything.
Miscellaneous. Oh wait, landscaping. It's not landscaping. Art, utility.
Under miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Nicole, Nicole says it's hard for me to pay for a game to play. I get that, Nicole. However, I will say, for what me and Steve paid for this in the very beginning, I feel like I've got my money out of it.
Oh, I've definitely. Oh, there it is. Tower Terror. I definitely have gotten it. What's up? I got a fairy tale gazebo
in this game.
Oh my gosh!
I'm afraid to tell y'all how much time I've logged in this game.
It's so big, Chris.
Yeah.
I just placed it just so it's down. Now I got to figure out how to rearrange everything to make it all fit. There we go.
Anyway.
I can't move that one. We're just going to see if it'll work. Oh, there's the Tower of Terror right in the middle of my... All right, I can get around that. Can I get these? I can. All right, we'll rebuild this later. All right, now that that's done, I didn't realize that was a ride. What is that? The only other one, the attraction that there is, other than the ones
I believe so. Other than the Dumbo, the Ferris wheel,
and the teacups.
and
Okay.
teacups. No, not where I want to go.
I'm
Go
done
here.
playing the game.
Let's
I got a
go
puzzle to work on.
I've got more Lego I can do.
Yeah.
If you feel like sticking around a little while.
I mean, I'm going to build a puzzle, so let's do it. Pick them up.
I wish you could ride some of these vehicles, like we have different motorcycles and stuff from.
Oh, no joke. That'd be cool.
Different movies. Yeah, that's the only attractions that I see.
Make sure I don't have anything else hiding away in my inventory to put out.
That's what I was just scrolling through mine to see. That's the only ones that I see.
It was under miscellaneous, by the way.
Yeah.
I found a fairy gazebo. What is that? It's not an attraction, is it?
No. All right. Let me save and quit the game. And here we go. Okay. Let me do this as well.
Whoever, yeah, somebody told me I should work on the. I can't remember who it was. It might have been who was with us. Angie was with us last night, right?
Yes.
Might have been her.
Yep.
The Wizard of Oz puzzle.
Yep.
But I didn't want to do that one. It looked more difficult than I wanted to tackle right now. I wanted something nice and quick and easy so that I could get finished and get it feel like a sense of accomplishment. But then I picked one of the worst ones for that because it's all red and black and white. I'm getting ready to start a new game. I started a new game already. I'm playing Fallout 76 again.
Oh yeah.
Which I've only got one or two more episodes left, and I'll be done with the series. But then I'm gonna start playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's just taking over. What are you laughing at?
The boy child's game.
Well, so not only does Boy Child play it, my best friend from home plays it in the group that we were there. Justin Sanuda was talking about it, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, lots of people are playing this game. People from work are playing it and asked me to get it. And I'm like, Evan was the first one.
Yeah.
So, but I was also told, play it by yourself till you get leveled up and everything, because it's very important to the story and everything else. So,
right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't hear the music very well.
What game again?
It doesn't need to go up a lot, but
the Boy Child. I'm gonna switch and put my earbuds in because I can hear it better that way. You can judge it. The Boy Child plays Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
Gotta take a quick picture, and you guys know. Nope. I almost messed up. That was a mute button.
Thank you, Debbie. Nicole sent me this. This is Huck the Hippo. And he sits here with me while I work. And
what's his name?
Huck the Hippo.
Maybe you should send him over to play with Sherman for a little while.
No.
Why not?
Debbie, Stacy said, okay, I was just blown away when Steve said he has a few episodes left in a video game. I never even knew that was a thing. Yes.
It's not. It's a few episodes left on the TV show.
But Baldur's Gate has like chapters to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like having chapters of progression, but what I was talking about was actually a TV show. They took a video game and adapted it into a TV show on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good. Even if you didn't play the games, it's still a good show. But man, if you played the games, it means so much just to see it. Tell me, Chris, you need to send Huck to Sherman.
Oh.
They'll have some fun together, and I'll send them back with pictures.
There's Corby Sinclair with the Disco Hippo. Thank you, Corby. Thank you.
Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Ow!
And Wendy B with the $4.99 floating hippos.
I'm a hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet. Oh.
There you go. Thank y'all. It's hippo time. Oh. All right, I'm going to switch my camera so I can work on Lego. We're going to try to get another bag done.
Do it.
Millennium Falcon.
Will you finish it tonight, Chris?
No, I will not finish it tonight.
Oh.
Unless we go a bit longer.
No, not tonight.
Yeah.
Still tired from yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go as long as you want.
No, I
unfortunately will not be joining you.
Dinah Murphy with the $3 Disco Hippo. Thank you, Dinah Murphy.
I'm a hippopotamus. I'm fat and dangerous. If you don't understand, I might just bite your hand.
Yep.
Oh, I hate the fact that song is starting to get a little catchy.
Corby says, okay, it's getting late. 5:30 comes early. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Good
Night,
night, Corby. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for the sticker. Stacy says the first one's the best. Stephen K, welcome in. Good to see you. Howdy. Oh. All right. Bag number 3.
How many bags are there?
11.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You only did 2 last night? Or not even 2?
I did 2. Yep. Debbie Burnfeld. Good. Debbie. $20 victory hippo. We're going.
Hippopotamus. 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 Ow! I'm a hippopotamus. I like swimming, but I'm dangerous. If you get too close to me, I might just bite your feet. Oh.
There you go. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Thank you. Like, me and Mom play rummy all the time. My parents like to play rummy sometimes. And I saw y'all were talking about Phase 10 too. My parents play Phase 10 too. I just want to say I think $20 deserves all 3. I can do all 3. Let me do the third.
I was just sending him an invite. That's what I was doing.
I've done it.
I'm a hippopotamus. I'm fat and dangerous. If you don't understand, I might just bite your hand.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
I was just texting you the link to come join us.
Oh, Thank you again, Debbie.
I can't find my emojis.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
How's that pool treating you?
Uh,
Are you happy you did it?
oh yeah, it's nice.
Okay, it looked nice.
Yeah. It was a beautiful night. The water was like 78, 80 degrees.
Oh wow.
Wow.
We're not allowed to use the heater for the first month, I guess.
Why? Oh, because everything's got a cure.
Everything has a cure, so you can't vacuum it. You can't really do anything with it for the first month. So,
What happens if it gets so hot outside the water rises or the temperature rises?
what would you say?
Like you said, you can't use a heater, but it's getting to get hot enough. The temperature's going to get warm.
Exactly. So we don't really need the heater.
I figured you'd want to do all that stuff at the very beginning to have it. I don't know pools.
What you building?
This is the Millennium Falcon, the new smaller one.
Wait a minute. All those packs came in that. Oh, that's the book.
Yeah, this is the book.
Oh, I thought that was the box. Like,
Mm-hmm. Chris, how many pieces is that one?
This is 931. Yep.
when is that to your upper left, Chris? Well,
Those are cards.
This is so I was unboxing some stuff yesterday, going through boxes, and I found Formula One cards I had from 1992, and the boy child went through them last night.
We were
Nice.
playing with them last night, looking at them, looking at the values, and
He found the
Michael Schumacher.
the 12 most expensive ones in the deck.
nice.
Yeah. He's a big Formula One fan, and when I found him, I thought, oh, he'll get a kick out of looking at those. And then when he found out how much a few of them were worth, I was like, hey, I'm keeping those. Those are mine.
What's Steve doing?
I'm doing a puzzle. Give me 1 second. No pants Tuesday, Jeff.
No pants every day for me.
I know. I'm working on this puzzle.
That's a lot of red.
It is a lot of red.
That puzzle.
So were you the one that was hesitant about going to see Herman's Hermits, or was it Rye Guy?
Right guy.
Oh,
I love him,
You
but
texted me. You texted me about him.
Yeah, I said you need to tell Rye Guy how good Herman's Hermits is.
That's right.
So
It was great.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I was contemplating skipping it yesterday because the line was ridiculous. It was back into Germany for the second show. I thought, if I wait in this line, I'm not even going to get a good seat for the 8:00 show. So I decided not to. Mike was insistent on waiting though, and he did. Wound up somehow getting like 10th in line for the 8:00 show. So we did it. It was, as always, it was just amazing.
They pulled them in. They have a great following.
They do for sure.
He puts on a great performance. Like I said last night, I don't know that I knew any of his music, but once he starts performing, you're like, I know these songs.
Exactly.
Well, some of those weren't his songs. He was singing some other songs,
Yeah.
but a lot of them were his songs.
Well, Daydream Believer was the Monkees, but
Yeah,
he sounds just like Davy Jones.
He does.
he's got the Hush that song. Henry VIII, I Am is like the greatest song he sings, in my opinion. I love that song.
Wendy, nobody in the band is named Herman. and he doesn't wear a wig.
No, he's all natural. And he's the greatest. I mean, like, guy's 76. He's out there dancing like Mick Jagger, running around the stage, coming in the crowd. Stood right in front of Mike and I.
What card game are they talking about playing?
Lorcana?
No.
No, they were talking about Rummy.
Gin, Rummy, Uno.
Canasta?
Oh, Canasta.
Canasta.
What's Canasta?
It's an old people game. My grandparents used to play it. That's what I always called it because I couldn't say Canasta. I called it the old people game.
We play Canasta.
Wendy, that was his real hair.
For sure.
It was.
Faux show. Don't be jealous.
So I know there's many concerts left so far. Favorite concert you've seen yet this season?
Oh man, it's got to be, for me. It's either him or Crowder, but Crowder's special to me because of just other stuff. But Crowder to me has been the loudest of all of them. Like it just comes through. But man, he was good last night.
See, I think that might be the only concert I've missed.
Crowder?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite outside of Crowder?
There's just two. Like, Rick Springfield always puts on a great show.
He was good.
Starship was amazing.
I didn't get to see them because I was gone.
I love ELO.
Oh, don't forget about the Flock of Seagulls.
I didn't see them. I was going to say something, but I remember we were on stream.
Oh, man.
I don't think anybody saw them, to be honest. I don't remember anybody streaming it anyway.
I certainly did not.
So here's what got my attention. Well, you know how they play the previews before the concerts? They play little snippets of songs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Crowder was playing, but I didn't know it was Crowder. I thought it was oh my gosh, Peter Gabriel. It sounded just like Peter Gabriel.
Yep.
But I wish I would have sung because I like the way I like the way they sound.
He's got a great sound. I wish he would have sung some of his older stuff. A lot of people miss out on that because he went from the David Crowder band to just Crowder with the solo endeavor. And some of that older stuff though is just ridiculous. I will tell you the best concert I saw last year was Simple Plan, and I have dining reservations for that. Are you joining me, Jeff?
When?
The
on bowling night?
No, we moved it to Tuesday.
I know.
Yeah, and I forgot that was the dining plan night.
Poor Murph.
Murph's a trooper, man. He's a saint. He without hesitation, I can move it. I was like, well, check with everybody.
What? So when's the Simple Plan?
13th, Monday the 13th. So not this coming Monday, the following Monday.
Monday the 13th. Where's the dining reservation?
It is. Mike will not be joining us because that's the only Monday he's not going to be here.
I know.
I think I made it for 4. No future plans.
See, all I have Monday, May 13th is Steve Bowling stream, 6 to 9.
Yeah, it's not anymore. So you're going to be there.
You hasn't changed it yet.
It's I got the one for Coral Reef that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else that was available.
Jan's going to see Peter Noon. I would pay
Yeah,
to see
you got
them. I would
tickets to
pay
Chicago.
to see them. Like a real show. It's like a variety show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let me modify that. Let me try.
Hi, Tina. I'm feeling
Hey,
better.
Tina. Tina, I really hope you feel better.
I hope she's okay. Maybe she has bum worms.
I hope not. They're easy to catch.
Or shingles, one of the two. Tina, hope you're better.
Hope you're better, Tina.
Last night she said she had both.
Yeah. But,
Yeah,
But
Jeff
just-
loves a good bluey.
just remember, Tina, if you do have bum worms, there's always chocolate.
Why do we need medicine? Are we sick? Do we have bum worms?
No, you don't have bum worms.
Oh, I want bum worm chocolate.
You're killing me, Chris. You're killing me.
He's got more. Just throwing it out there.
Please.
Wait, I forgot to ask. Have you ever been sick?
Sick? Why, yes. I've got bum worms.
Ew.
I can't. Oh.
So, Jeffrey, the only thing that I can do,
No, that's fine.
well, look at the only thing that was late enough. That's the reason why I did it. Was that was the latest I could get at 5:15.
That's fine.
I'm gonna try to push it farther out.
Snickerdoodle said, Jeff,
keep an
Chris
eye out
and I
on
went
it.
down a blue rabbit hole last night before the stream. Yes, we did.
And I apologize for that rabbit hole.
They're great rabbit holes.
Flipper wants to know, are bum worms catchy? They are.
Are they? What do you when you mean catchy? Like contagious?
Yes. It's been going around our house because we share a toilet.
Yep.
We only have one in the house.
Oh man, I need more water, but I don't want to go get it.
That looks like an airplane.
Kind of does.
We're gonna stay. We're gonna finish up with some pineapple mango green tea. I got 2 left.
Nice.
Yeah, Monorail Molly brings up a good point. Why is Jason not snoring by now?
Why isn't he snoring by now? That's fun. What? Nope.
So the Wawa down at the end of the street is under refurb. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that. You can still get gas, but they won't let you enter the one day. So what's crazy is they're going around fixing a bunch of them because the one up by my work was under refurb, just got done with refurb, and they started refurbing this one.
Crazy. I can't even make a left off of Avalon Road to get in there to get gas.
Yeah, you got to go around and do a
I
U-turn and come back.
all the way around.
I think it's dumb that have you tried going in there and going around the back of the building and going around?
You can't.
So they got the whole thing blocked off.
It's got a fence around it. The whole place.
Yeah, that's dumb.
A lot of bags, Chris. 7,
It is.
11
I was
bags.
not expecting 11 bags. I was not expecting this many, to be honest.
How many bags were you expecting?
I don't know, maybe 8.
Mm.
Who has shingles?
Tina does, doesn't she?
No.
What?
I thought Tina had shingles. She said last night she had both shingles and bumworms.
Oh. Jim. No. In all seriousness, Angie's friend got shingles when she was 40 years old.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah.
So I know it's like the chicken pox. What does it exactly do?
It's the virus that's in your body, the chicken pox.
How do you get rid of it?
Well, you get the shingles vaccine when you turn 50.
Well, okay. When you get shingles, how long does it last? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
A long, my dad had shingles, and he said it was the worst pain he's ever felt.
Really?
It just flares up at times, doesn't it, Jeff? It's not like you just have it once and it goes away. It can come back.
It eats you from the inside out.
Oh, that sounds gross.
Yeah.
So what does it do?
It burns. It's like burns through your skin until it gets out to your outer layer. It goes from the inside out.
Man. I don't need that.
Stephanie L says it's painful.
Can I get it?
Yeah, it's stress induced. Yeah.
Mindy says my sister-in-law got shingles in her 30s. We were on a cruise. Stress also induced.
Yeah.
Oh, I got lots of stress. Some's euphoric, some's not good.
As soon as I turned 50, that was the first thing I did. I got the shingles vaccine.
Can
we get it early?
No, you have to be 50.
When I was in high school, I worked at a pharmacy, and one of our pharmacists would get it. He would come down with cases. He'd have to go out of work to be out. He could be out.
Chris, it sounds like you're underwater as a robot.
Really?
Yep.
Is that better?
Yeah, we heard you that time.
Okay.
You said he would get it and blah, blah, blah.
He would, when I worked at the pharmacy, the pharmacist sometimes would get flare-ups of it. And he would be out of work for like a week or more at a time.
Jeez.
It's just so painful he couldn't work.
But if you've had chicken pox, then you're...
Oh yeah, it lives inside you.
Yep.
I had chicken pox.
Crazy. I had chicken pox.
So all you gotta do is go get the vaccine, though, right?
Yeah, I keep telling Ron he's got to get that vaccine.
Now, when I get vaccines, I get sick. Is this one gonna make me sick?
It'll hurt like heck.
The vaccine will?
No, the vaccine won't. Shingles will.
See, when I get vaccines for like the flu, COVID, all that, it puts me down for 3 or 4 days.
Oh, suck it up, Buttercup.
Well, that's the thing. Otherwise I don't get. I mean, when I get sick, it's just like nothing. Like I had COVID 4 times. It's like a fly on my shoulder. I got the vaccine and it put me down for 4 days. 4 days the first time and 3 days the second time because you got to get 2 shots.
Yeah, you got to get 2 shots. I think you got to get it like 6 months apart or something like that.
No, 30 days, I think.
Oh, whatever.
But back then it was like 30 days.
But you, yeah, that was one vaccine I didn't mind getting.
Oh, that one hurt me so bad.
Wendy never had the chicken pox.
I had chicken pox. Both of the shingles vaccines I got made me sick, says All Smiles. Welcome in, All Smiles. Good to see you.
There's 2 shingles vaccines?
Yeah, you gotta get 2.
Oh.
But Angela got a little bit of a reaction from hers.
So All Smiles, what is the reaction? I was gonna ask all Smiles. How sick did you get? What did it give you? Like the flu, or what is it?
Steve wants to be prepared, even though he's got a while to worry about it.
I do have a while to worry about it, but still.
It was almost like Angela, where she got the shot. It was like inflamed and red, and
well, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Am I going to be out for 4 or 5 days?
Steve's like me. He's got a long time before he has to worry about getting. Shut up, Steve.
Getting old stinks. I'm telling you right now. Don't get old.
Oh, Jeff, last night you missed. I showed my prom pictures.
Oh my God, it looks just like Evan. Like we put a side-by-side photo, Jeff.
Oh no, Evan came in and we had the picture up beside Evan.
Let's see him.
Here you go.
I really wish you could see the side-by-side. Like He even had the same expression on his face. You know, we got to zoom in on that. Hang on a minute. Look at that.
Very nice.
It looked just like Evan did last night.
That was prom senior year.
That was prom. Actually, I think that was junior year, to be honest. And here you go, Jeff. This is my kids had no idea who this was, but you'll know who this is. This was taken at Magic Kingdom over at Tomorrowland Terrace. Yeah. That's me on the left with
Wow.
Regis.
Regis Philbin.
Chris liked to sport that little mustache.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. I have no pictures of me at all.
Why?
My parents passed away. I don't know where all the pictures went.
Oh, you didn't get all the stuff? Sorry.
No pictures of me.
Well, that's unfortunate.
My mom used to take pictures of us. Like, she had books and books and books of pictures of us. I mean, we had so many pictures. I have no idea where they all are.
My mom has his boxes for each of us that she's created of all the stuff that's been done, you know, so that we can go collect them.
And I just happened to find that photo album yesterday. There was more pictures in there from my
And
senior year and from my
glorious,
high school graduation.
glorious that you found it.
Bag 4.
Yay.
4 of 11.
Do some of your siblings have them? Asked Wendy.
I have no idea. I don't talk to those guys.
Lovely people.
But, yeah, I remember those nice guys.
Great folks. Oh, Jeff.
I like to consider myself part of Jeff's family, so.
Yeah.
Are y'all going to try to get over to Hollywood Studios tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow, but I will be there Saturday.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's the 35th anniversary.
Oh,
They're doing a special.
Oh, crap.
They're doing a special show or presentation at 11 a.m.
I forgot that tomorrow's the actual anniversary.
Yeah.
I won't be there at 11 a.m., but I might try to swing over.
I might go over.
They
Jeffrey, did you see the new 35th anniversary pin set if you're a D23 member?
I did not.
I think Chris still has the picture.
I do still have the picture.
It's pretty cool, man. It's only $35 for 5 pins. Limited edition.
There you go.
Oh,
We got a Pizza Rizzo, Tower of Terror, and
rock and roll.
Rock and Roller Coaster, Mickey, and then Star Wars, and
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
$34
$34?
for the 4 pins, and
So
it's a limited edition of 1,000.
So I said it's pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
There's something for you to go buy after a while.
dang. I I'm gonna have to. I should go over tomorrow at some point.
They, I think they're doing the presentation or ceremony over there where they do at the theater where they do Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
So it's funny you say that because for May the 4th, all the reservations were gone. We couldn't get a reservation for May the 4th.
Yeah.
But today we did get one. So
really?
May 4th?
May the 4th.
So today the reservation became available for May 4th.
Yes. Which is a Saturday.
Yep. I will see you there, sir.
This we were supposed to have Abby's birthday party Thursday here. That's her actual birthday is Thursday. But Ronnie's baseball team won tonight, so they're playing Thursday.
Oh.
So we're gonna go to that.
Why they gotta win? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, they beat the number 1 team tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't think they were going to beat this team. So Abby, he said, "Go ahead and schedule your birthday for Thursday," because she was going to have a bunch of friends come over. I ordered this bluey cake. I should show you the birthday cake I ordered.
Yes, please do.
For Publix, they had a bluey birthday cake.
That's
I just had to cancel it because God dang it. I was going to find the email.
Saw a stuffed bluey that folded up into a pillow at CVS yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It did not look like bluey. That was the weirdest looking supposed to be bluey thing I've ever seen. It was weird. I almost bought it just to bring it home and show it on stream.
All right. So this is my order right here. It was a bluey dance mode.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'll have to order it from some other day.
Yeah.
So when's the new party, Jeffrey?
I don't know.
She needs
now
she needs the bluey cake, sir.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to order the. You ever been to a Kiki's down here?
What is it?
Kiki's, Kiki, Kiki's.
Is it a breakfast thing?
Yeah,
I think I've been once.
she wants to go there Thursday instead for breakfast before school.
It's kind of like First Watch.
No, it's nothing like First Watch.
I know I've been to one because I knew it was a breakfast thing, but I just don't remember what it was.
I can usually finish
Kiki's
breakfast.
do? Remind me.
What's that?
What is Kiki's?
Oh my gosh, they have so many. Go look at the menu when you're in your free time.
I know I've been to one. I've gone to First Watch several times.
I love First Watch. But this place is pancake. I mean, I can usually finish breakfast. I can never finish breakfast at Kiki's.
Never heard of Kiki's.
It's a chain down here.
Yeah, Kiki's Breakfast Cafe. Oh yeah, they got the crazy pancakes.
They have pancakes, eggs, bacon,
Waffles.
sausage, waffles.
Yeah, so they have apple cinnamon waffles. Actually, I think that's what I got when I went. Was apple cinnamon waffles. Their pancakes are ridiculous. They have big, tall pancakes, and they'll decorate them like a cake with whipped cream around the outside, put some fruit on them, and
They're not like
they're not First
they're
Watch.
not like what's that place?
First Watch.
Pancakes.
IHOP.
IHOP. It's not like IHOP
No.
pancakes. These are good pancakes.
Yeah, this is good. That's good food. I remember now.
Kate Oodalane, welcome in. Good to see you. They have mimosas, says Stephanie L. There's a plus.
First Watch does. Does Kiki's too?
I don't know. I'm going to have to come back and work, so I don't think I'll be having mimosas.
I mean, mimosas are like a. I don't know why you'd want to. Which I'm drinking anyways, but I don't know why you want to drink that early in the morning.
Hey, mimosas are great no matter what time of day.
Are they?
Yes.
Take your word for it, sir. Aren't they like what is it, champagne?
And orange juice.
Champagne and orange juice. I like the orange juice part. Not so much.
I love orange juice.
Yep.
All right. Take a picture here. We can move on.
Are you close to being done?
Me?
Yeah.
I just started it. I got the outside done. But just wanted to get the outside done so that I can start. Inside shouldn't be too long. I mean, I don't think it'll be too difficult.
Yeah, First Watch is hard to get to because they're only open till what?
Like 10 or 11.
They're not open all day.
Nope. No, sir, they are not.
Are both of these places, and you might have just said this, are they only open until like afternoon or early afternoon or something?
Kiki's serves other food.
Yeah. Kiki's is only, I don't think they're open all day, but I think they're, like you can get breakfast, you can go in at like 4 o'clock and get breakfast.
There's a bunch of breakfast places like that at Myrtle Beach, but a lot of them only are open till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that, and they're closed the rest of the day. Around here, all we have is Burger King if you want a breakfast.
You're getting new stuff, though. I saw other buildings being built.
Yeah. Getting a Zaxby's.
Are you really?
Yes, we are.
Oh, man, I love Zaxby's.
We've got a Bojangles, we just got a KFC, and now we're going to get a Zaxby's. We're going to have all the chicken that you could ever want.
I think Zaxby's is going to wind up being your favorite, Chris.
Oh, I know it will be.
Not a fan of Bojangles.
Oh, but
Why?
I tried it once when I was in North Carolina. The first time I went to try it, I went in, they told me they didn't have chicken tenders. So all they had was bone-in chicken. But I found another one, and somebody else told me it was called a different name or something. So I went and tried it again. And I don't know, it was just okay. Their biscuits were good.
Their biscuits are delicious.
I mean, I could go there and order some biscuits, but you know.
So the new Bojangles over by the Costco in Claremont,
Yeah.
they don't have bone-in chicken. All they have is chicken tenders.
Seriously, so it must be a regional thing because the other one didn't have boneless. All they had was bone-in chicken.
All they had was bone. See, I would rather have the bone-in.
I'd rather have the boneless.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Claremont. You go to Charlotte.
Yeah.
ours has both.
Kiki's Cafe open 7 a.m. to 2:30. Closed Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thank you, Stephanie.
Here's
Kiki. It's called K-E-K.
How come every time I walk in on a book club stream, you're never reading a book?
We finished. We finished the book.
Oh,
Well, we
okay.
finished reading what we were reading tonight.
It seems like every time I walk in and it says book club stream, you're always doing something other than reading the book.
You should
we
be
read-
there earlier.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Wendy B. Wendy says Bojangles potato rounds. Stop it.
See,
I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
them,
Is
Wendy.
she talking about their fries?
No,
Or-
they're bow rounds.
Bow rounds? Oh,
I don't like the
Oh.
bow rounds.
I love me some bow rounds. And it's not potatoes either; it's onions.
It's got onions in it.
Yeah.
I don't like it because it's got onions in it.
Oh goodness.
I don't think our Bojangles has those.
Sounds
Yeah.
like you need to do Bojangles. You sure not going to KFC?
I know the difference between KFC and Bojangles and Zaxby's and PDQ. And
I don't like PDQ.
you don't like PDQ?
I've had it 3 times, and all 3 times I think the chicken was underdone. It was like rubber.
Mike Rye Guy and I went there the other day. Well, a couple weeks ago, and it was delicious.
The one over there on Flamingo Crossing.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've been to, and I had 3 times.
I was just gonna look something up, and I totally. Oh yeah. Bojangles. I wonder what. And you can only 8 people can sit in this Bojangles at once.
Mhm.
It's so small.
No, I'd say that. I think the one in North Carolina was pretty tight.
Oh yeah. I told her not to make me use. She said she would make 2 burgers.
Yeah.
early.
All right. So speaking of foods, I noticed that they're building a Jersey Mike right by us.
Yeah.
You guys like Jersey Mikes?
Yeah, it's good, but we have it for everything, so I'm burnt out on it. I'm not a huge fan of their bread, and the Jersey Mikes by us messes up the orders all the time. That's not indicative of other Jersey Mikes though, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Kate Ulala Lane says, "Why do you guys always get talking about food when poor Chris is so limited right now?" Usually,
Chris
Kate,
started it.
because I'm the one that starts it. So,
So what do you prefer? Like Subway, Jimmy John's?
For me, it's Quiznos.
Jimmy John's all the way.
Really?
Jimmy John's is my favorite. I love Jimmy John's.
Everybody talks about how overpriced it is and that you get a smaller sandwich than you do at Subway. But I think Jimmy John's just tastes better all around.
I agree, Evan.
Their bread is fresher and their ingredients are fresher.
Where's your Quiznos?
I don't know if there's one around here. I haven't eaten it since I left Indiana.
they closed all the ones here.
Yeah, they closed all
I've
the
never
ones
been
in
to a
Pittsburgh.
Quiznos.
I've never seen one.
Maybe
down
they've
there.
closed them all. I don't know.
I used to love Quiznos though. They did a chicken Caesar that was amazing. I loved it.
They had a really good. It was like what they called their steaks. They put it on their steak sauce. So I would get the.
I'm with Zenlax. Firehouse was one of my favorites. Firehouse.
Okay, this is gonna be a very unpopular opinion. I despise Firehouse.
I like Firehouse.
I don't despise it, but it's not. my
I
favorite.
love their mission because it's all supporting firefighters and all that. Their bread is the worst bread of any sandwich I've ever had.
I've never had Firehouse.
It
like
tastes like rubber. I mean,
Ron and Ronnie had it, and Meredith had it, and they all got sick.
oh,
Oh,
so maybe it's a good thing I don't like it. No, I'm not a fan. I just not.
Do you remember the Quizmos commercial when they had a pepper bar?
Hi, everybody.
A pepper
Evan's
night.
out.
Pepper bar? Good night, Evan.
You say a pepper bar?
Pepper bar.
I don't know. No,
Oh, I gotta find this. It was the strangest commercial I've ever.
Which restaurant?
Quiznos.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember when Wendy's used to have a super bar though.
a super bar.
Yeah, Wendy's
What's a
used to
super
have
bar?
a super bar.
Can I play this, Chris? Will you get a copyright?
No, go ahead. I don't care.
I remember the music.
Okay. Hold on.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Oh, shoot.
Can't hear.
Can't hear it. Why can't you hear it? My volume down? Oh, yeah.
Wendy remembers.
Yes.
I do.
Quiznos new Santa Fe Trio subs with smoky chipotle sauce. Fried chicken, roast beef, or smoked turkey. Quiznos. Twos.
Those commercials were so insane. They were so good.
I do not remember that.
Oh, shoot.
There's the
Stop.
next one. Yes, Wendy. They had pasta on their super bar at Wendy's. Yep.
I saw that commercial, and I'm like, I am never going to Quiznos just because of that commercial.
Jeanette
No.
says, "Does that make anyone want to eat this food?"
No, it made me
Listen.
not want to eat there.
It was so good though.
That commercial?
No, I think he's saying the subs were so good.
Yeah, the food was so good. Jeff, have you ever eaten? It's around here. There's some in the airports. There's some in Detroit, but it's a sandwich place too. It's called Potbelly.
No.
That's my favorite, I guess. If I had to pick an absolute favorite of a sandwich shop, that's my favorite. They use thick cut peppered bacon, and I get a BLT when I go. It's really good.
Okay, there was one right by my office in Arlington, Virginia. Forget the name. Oh, Witch. Have you ever had Witch?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one.
I've heard of it, but I've never been there.
Witch. You like get a piece of paper and you write what you want on it. You
Yeah.
check off what you want it. Oh,
There was one back where I lived in Indiana.
never had pasta. Check that out.
Dude, there's one in so around here. There's one in the lots of airports have them. There's a bunch of them in Detroit, but there's one over in Tampa. I know. I don't know. Yeah, Potbelly's amazing. I don't remember where the closest Potbelly is to us though. Here, I think it's Tampa.
Remember that. Of course, they're building McDonald's right by us now too.
I used to eat a lot of McDonald's. I don't anymore.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris.
You what?
Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No,
I can only do McDonald's I used to can only do McDonald's every once in a while.
I used to be able to eat McDonald's every day when I was going to college.
Huey Magoo's is good. I like Huey Magoo's.
I do like Huey Magoo's.
Never been there.
I don't know if is that a down here thing, Jeff?
I think it's a down here thing. Yeah.
There was one over close to where I used to work. But I never went there. Also close to my work, we had a KFC that still had the buffet bar.
Oh, yes, there was one of those in Indiana.
I have never been to a KFC with a buffet. What's on the buffet bar?
Everything.
All their chicken, everything on the menu.
Chicken?
Yeah.
Their biscuits, potatoes.
Whoa.
You
What?
did
Yeah.
Dude, it was amazing.
They would have, And you could get both the original or extra crispy on the buffet bar.
No,
Yeah.
this is all new to me.
They had the coleslaw, the mac and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the gravy, the biscuits,
And here's the best part:
banana pudding.
my KFC buffet was also an A&W root beer. So it was
No.
KFC. Yes. So I would order the A&W root beer on tap and get the KFC
Root beer.
buffet.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So good, man.
I have never heard of a KFC buffet. That's something Zach needs.
Um,
Oh my gosh. You would get you could get the A&W root beer on tap and then go get the KFC. Oh my gosh.
says
That sounds like date night for Jeff.
here's
Only buffet we have is a Sicily's Pizza. Never heard of that, Nicole.
Have you ever been to a Pizza Hut buffet?
yeah, they don't
Yeah.
they don't do those as much anymore, but
I think there's one on 190. No.
there you go, Jeff. That was your Pizza Hut buffet.
Oh, I have.
All the chicken over here, either or. Yeah, these are your biscuits, and then just like fries and all these sides down here, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese. They had everything on the buffet.
How
and
much
then,
was
and,
this?
and just a bunch of gravy. And then, like I said, mine was a KFC A&W root beer. So we were able to get the sorry, Chris, I shut the music off. We were able to get the A&W root beer on tap, and they just had over there. You just go over there and pour the little fountain. It was even separate. It wasn't even in the Coke machine. It had its own little dispenser.
I know A&W root beer well.
So
The,
good. It was the best thing.
On tap,
Yeah.
nothing beats it.
Yep.
the buffet itself at KFC was only like $11 or something last time I went.
Really?
Jeff, there's
It was
an
cheaper
A&W
than
root beer in
ordering like a-
Celebration.
What, Steve? Sorry.
All right, there's an A&W root beer in Celebration with on tap root beer.
Let's go.
It's the only one near us. There's one down in Lakeland, but sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say it was cheaper to do the buffet than it would be like the 3-piece combo or something. I was like, yeah, I'll do the buffet.
Oh, sweet. I'm over there at that Walmart all the time. It's over by, it's in Old Town, Jeff.
That's not too far from here.
No, it's just south of Springs. Right, just right around the corner from Pop Century.
Really?
Yeah, it's we're 192 and 417.
I did not know this.
It says A&W Restaurant Old Town. And when you pull it up, it shows the frosty mug with the root beer poured into it. Where's our Potbelly in Orlando?
I know we're just going for lunch tomorrow.
Potbelly. Oh my gosh. That didn't used to be there. It's on US 50. No, that can't be right.
Potbelly?
Oh, it's way off past the. No, that's right around the corner from where I work.
50's Colonial.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Sam's Club. I work right there. It's just around the corner.
From where you work?
When did they put that in? It's right across the street from the Target
What Target?
up on 50 where I work. It's, oh my gosh.
50's a long street, so you have to.
Steve is getting very excited about this prospect.
Well, it didn't used to be there. I know exactly. I know exactly where it's at. I'm gonna have to ask him how long ago because I've searched for Potbelly before. That has not come up in the past. There's a Target that I go to all the time right there. It's just down the road from the Fazoli's that I go to. There's a place called Hot Dog Heaven. I don't eat there, but it's literally just down the road from Fazoli's. Oh man,
Fazoli's is good. I like Fazoli's.
they put one in. There's one on 50 now.
Well, we go to the one over by Windermere.
Is there one in Windermere?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's up there, up 27. Well,
Windermere.
I think. Man, I can't believe there's a Potbelly's there. I don't know him for, well, I'm on a diet now, too. I'm really trying to work it hard.
Now you are? Now?
I am. I'm trying to, like, really, I'm trying to hit it really hard. I'm going to try to lose, I know this is not healthy. We'll try to lose 25 pounds in the next 3 weeks. So, lots of liquids to fill me up.
You gotta look good for bathing suit season.
Well, my Speedo, you know.
Yep.
And I wouldn't wear it except they make me.
What, say that again? Who's making you? Did you get a lifeguard job somewhere?
No, the security makes me wear it.
It still doesn't clarify things, but okay.
Do I keep asking questions here, or do I just let it go?
It's best that you don't.
Okay.
Man, I used to go. So you used to be able to go to my AW. I don't know if you yours, Jeff, or not, but you could order the root beer by the gallon.
No.
It was only like $6 or $7 for the gallon of it. They would literally take a gallon jug, put it under there, and fill it up from the faucet, the same tap that you were getting it from.
No, our A&W was in with a what was the fish place? The
Long John
Long
Silver's.
John's.
it was with the Long John Silver's, so I would,
That's where ours is.
I didn't really care for Long John Silver's, so
I love Long John.
I like
Silver's.
Long John Silver's.
I would get the hamburgers over at A&W.
Oh man, I used to drive up to Long John Silver's and order the crumbs. They were like, "You don't want anything else?" I said, "Nope, just give me the fatty batter that they cooked everything in."
Steve.
I know, Jeff. I know. I said used to.
Well, they have chicken too, Wendy.
Their chicken's really good. I love their chicken. So and then I got to the point where I had to order, chicken with extra crumbs.
Are there any fast food restaurants that are now extinct that you really used to like to go to?
There was a restaurant back home that my parents used to take us to all the time. Well, first off, there was a Zax's, which I think became Arby's. Or Rax, I'm sorry. Rax, I think became Arby's. They had little alligator cups we used to get. So when that went out of business, though, they used to take us to a place called Po Folks.
Yep.
And we used to get these big steak fries, and it was a thing. We go there every Friday or whatever we can afford to go, and we would get orange soda in a big ball mason jar. Those are the two that I remember growing up that I haven't seen around anymore.
So was Po Folks owned by Farrah Fawcett's dad?
I don't know who it was owned by.
Because they opened one in Erie, and it was a chicken place, right? Po Folks, the chicken.
It was more like kind of like a.
No, it was more like a Cracker Barrel.
Barrel.
Yeah. They had chicken and dumplings and different stuff like that.
What about you, Chris? Any?
I miss. This is going to sound weird. One we used to do a lot, especially when we were on vacation. We would hit it for breakfast. Is Shoney's. Shoney's breakfast bar.
Shoney's.
Super bar.
There's still Shoney's in Indiana.
There's not many of them around. There's not any of them around here anymore. I also miss Quincy's and their big fat yeast rolls.
Quincy's. I don't know what Quincy's is.
Quincy's was a steakhouse.
It's okay. The people in the chat are saying Bonanza.
I don't know what that
I remember
is.
Bonanza. It was sort of like Ponderosa.
Yep.
There's still a Ponderosa in.
There's
around here.
several Ponderosas.
Bob's Big Boy.
We still have a Bonanza.
Big Boy. There's Big Boy still around too, at least in Indiana.
I don't remember Quincy's.
Quincy's
Again,
and Ryan's. Ryan's was another buffet steakhouse place.
There's a Ryan's in Indiana still, and that was a really good one.
Yeah.
What's Ryan's? What do they have?
It's kind of like Golden Corral, but way better.
Way better. Yeah.
So it's a buffet. They have the same kind of setup, but they have steaks and everything else, and it was really good. At least, again, I'm only basing it off the one I had in where I was at.
Does anybody remember Ground Round?
No, we never had that.
Ground Round.
Is it a hamburger place?
It was a it was sort of like a Applebee's, sort of like a Chili's Applebee's type restaurant.
Seems like Tina and Carlos and them were talking about that one night. Angela says, "OMG, yes, Jeff." Jan S loved Ground Round. I never heard of it. We didn't have them here.
Used to have Ground Round used to have great appetizers. Like you could go for happy hour, get appetizers.
Yeah.
Angie says Bennigan's.
Bennigan's out there.
Sam Loving.
Oh, there was a restaurant that was like Chipotle, and it was called
Okay.
Bahio. Not Chipotle, I'm sorry. Like Qdoba. It was called Bahio. And it was way better than Qdoba. But then they all went out of business. Or at least the ones around me did.
I've never found anything better than Qdoba.
Oh, Chipotle is better than Qdoba.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Poor Jeffrey.
We found one here that we really like. I don't know if it's everywhere else. I don't think it is, but it's called Salsaritas. It's really fresh. It's like a mixture between Chipotle and Moe's.
Now, that's what I don't care for. I've had, again, this is all relative to one Moe's. I like their little chip and salsa bar thing they got there.
Yep.
But the food I've had a couple times wasn't great, and they never go, "Welcome to Moe's." That really put me off for the first, right at the beginning. They didn't do that. And they kind of like, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I don't care for Moe's.
I like Moe's.
See, go ahead, Chris.
The one I had at work was always good and fresh and nice. So, eat at Moe's a lot.
We used to have a restaurant chain up in the Pittsburgh area. It was called Eaton Park.
Eaton
We
Park.
still- It's pretty big up in Pennsylvania.
Like
They're famous for their smiley cookies. I'm sure Dave has heard of them.
parking as in, because in high school, parking meant like you went and you found a corner to drive up to, and everybody would do it and then make out with your girlfriend.
Well, so it was, and the name's been around since the 50s. So it was like a drive up. You drive up in your car, but then they started making it inside. You can go inside to eat too.
Intriguing.
Old Country Buffet. I used to go to Old Country Buffet. That's my first job out of college because I moved out. I bought this apartment that I couldn't afford, and I bought a car that I couldn't afford. I could eat there for $4 or something like that, and just
Yeah.
fill me up for the rest of the.
That's why I like Fazoli's, man. $6.99 lunch, you get 2 portions, all you can eat breadsticks and a drink.
I know the Pizza Hut on the way to Ron and Meredith's house. They still have the buffet every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think one of these days I'm gonna take off and just go to the buffet with Zach and just crush it.
There you go.
I love talking about food with you guys.
Food brings back memories, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Brings back-
Some good, some bad.
I remember my parents always used to take us to Bonanza.
What was Bonanza?
It was like a Ponderosa. You know, you get the steak and then you get the salad bar.
I remember those.
It's at midnight.
Is it midnight already?
It is.
Oh man.
Cheese. Yeah, I used to.
Okay, I do like cheese. It was like a Chili's kind of.
Cheese? Oh,
It was like a Mexican version of a Chili's.
that food was pretty decent. It's a shame what happened.
What
I
happened?
remember back in the day when me and my friends would go to the mall and we'd always eat at Sbarro.
That's still around.
Yeah, I
Pretty
know.
much every mall.
Yeah.
Down here.
Sbarro.
So real quick, what is your favorite fast food restaurant now? Like that.
Now,
I mean, my favorite's probably not the one I eat at the most.
That's a hard one.
Well, I eat at Chick-fil-A the most, but for me, it's 100% Sarku Japan, which is in mostly the malls.
How about Panda Express?
I only had it once. I'm not a huge fan of Chinese food. I found a little place back home that I loved, and I haven't been able to replicate that anywhere.
Julie B says corn dog 7 at the mall. Those melty cheese dogs were great. Stacy said, I recently found out that Steve's favorite, The Rock, and his dad worked at our Chi-Chi's. Debbie Thunert go out. Good night, Debbie Thunert. Have a good one. God, my favorite now. It's hard for me to say now because I saw somebody put Wendy's. I do like Wendy's. Used to like Wendy's burgers a lot.
They do have a good spicy chicken.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A, of course.
Yeah.
I got to where I was a big fan of Zaxby's salads.
I like Zaxby's in general. It's really good. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen those things on YouTube where they take the bar graphs over time and they alter them? So they'll show you, they'll go back from like 1950 to today, showing you the most popular restaurants. And so you'll see a bunch of them jump and fall like this.
Yeah.
And you'll see McDonald's get introduced and it zips to the front and moves up. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to watch those. They're pretty satisfying videos to watch.
Yep. Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A. It's good. I'm already a signature member for next year. That's only April, so.
See, I
I've
think
only
Popeye-
tried Popeyes one time.
think Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A.
Oh, no way.
Oh, Jeff.
I do.
No.
Yeah. I think Popeye's chicken sandwich better than Chick-fil-A.
I've had Popeyes 4 times. All 4 times it was absolutely disgusting and dry. And there was just no flavor in it, any of that.
We used to have a Captain D's. Captain D's.
Yeah, Japanese was like a different kind, like Long John Silver.
John Silver's. Yeah.
They used to have cheesecake. I used to go to the drive-through and order like 5 cheesecakes. They were like they were little circles, and they give you a bunch of strawberry topping. They were like $1. So
I remember when the kids were little. After we would get out of church, I would take them, and me and them we'd go to either Captain D's, Firehouse, or something like that. So those bring back memories. That Captain D's is gone now. But
this restaurant's still around. But have you ever had? Do you remember when Rallies had tacos? Like, you know what Rallies is, right? Or like if Rallies or what's the other one? Checkers. They had tacos at one point in time. They were soft tacos, and I loved them. I thought they were better than Taco Bell.
I used to like to get the egg rolls at Jack in the Box. I always felt weird ordering them, but they were always good.
I never could get into Jack. Everybody talked about it. They put one in next to where I used to work. I just couldn't get into it at all. They put a couple of them around my city, but they would like. First off, I'm not a fan of pouring cheese onto anything. But that's all they do is pour cheese onto all their sandwiches and everything, and so I'd get it without the cheese because I didn't want it like pouring all over while I was trying to eat. And then and I still didn't think it was that great.
Never had Jack.
They had good tea.
I don't think anything beats Chick-fil-A lemonade. I like Chick-fil-A lemonade.
That's really good. Chick-fil-A makes my favorite tea as well. Zaxby's is close, but Chick-fil-A is really good.
Do you like their frozen lemonade? Because the girl child keeps telling me to try the frozen lemonade.
It's good.
Well, Abby told me how Abby's had to make the lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
Chick-fil-A. She told me I shouldn't probably be drinking the lemonade.
Just because of the sugar or the other stuff?
She says, Dad, you know how much sugar I put in that? I'm like, don't tell me.
Don't ruin it for me.
I'm not going to. But it's a lot.
The sunrooms on the Wendy's out there where you can bake while you eat. Get the diet, says Wendy.
See, I can tell the difference between diet and it just.
I can tell the difference. It's not good.
It's not good. I don't like the.
You go without it for a month and you can't tell the difference anymore. Trust me.
No, I can't. I just can't get over the aftertaste.
Actually, 2 months. You go without it for 2 months and you're good. Taco Bell.
I like Taco Bell.
I like Taco Bell. Their chicken quesadilla. I can't eat a whole one anymore, but chicken quesadilla.
I used to go get a box of tacos for myself, a 10-pack. They're not very big.
Yeah. Well. All right. I think we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I can't be up much longer, so.
I appreciate everybody hanging out. Jeff, thanks for coming in and joining us.
Thanks for the invite.
Taco Bell got expensive. It kind of did. Yeah. Love you all. Hope you have a good night. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Be sure to check out. I don't know if Tina is going at 5 because she's got the.
I hope she's okay. Maybe she has bum worms.
I hope not. They're easy to catch.
Oh, I hope she's better.
And her nose shingles too.
Maybe she'll be live tomorrow at 5. If not, Joy will be live at 8. And then this and that tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, talking about something.
Yep, something specific this time.
Oh, nice.
We might be forming our own Ghostbusters team. Forming the team, looking at the tools, to the gadgets that we're going to buy. We're really going to buy some stuff and start doing some stuff. So
nice. Sweet.
Jeffrey,
check that out at 9 o'clock. Pete, I think, goes on after them at some point. So hope everybody has a great Wednesday. I'm just praying I can make it through the half of the week. So we'll see you all back here Thursday night. And we may be playing Dreamlight Valley. We may be Legoing. Love you all. Have a great one. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for the super stickers. And see you all soon. Bye. Toodles.